Ladies, gentlemen, and other boys, girls, and whoever you decide you are, we have never seen a shake-up to the meta as big as what we are about to see. It is not hyperbole. It is not me trying to blow things out of proportion. I have been, for the last, half hour or some shit. Actually, let me reposition that chat box. And let's make it as big as my head, which is pretty big. Let's go. I've been running around so fucking excited. And from when I may or may not have found out about this stuff days ago, maybe longer, I definitely haven't been, losing my fucking shit. Mr. Beal, Mr. Mod, crush that bot's nuts. Okay. So, I don't think Warcom is updated yet. Let's just bring that up. And let's see. We will sit here and we will keep fucking trying to update it as long as we can. And I don't know why this one doesn't want to play ball, but whatever. WarhammerCommunity.com. All right, so why would you make the fucking things go away? There we go. All right, so latest articles. I don't think WAR is it because that's AOS. Depth to Sororitas, no. So we're still waiting for the official thing to come out. We're still waiting for all of that sort of stuff. But I do have some things that I can share. But before I do that, I was over on YouTube that this happens. It is out. Wait, hang on. Let me do that. I want to get predictions from people before we actually run through this. I want to see who is actually got their finger on the pulse. Munitorium Field Manual, updated 20th of the 6th. Oh, let's fucking go! All right, we're going to download this. And we're going to download this. All right, but before I do anything, I want to hear some predictions. I want to hear some cooking from everybody in there because hearing and reading and seeing some of these things. Oh, we've also got rules commentary and we got Pariah Nexus Mission Tournament Companion. That one I'm not too sure about, so let's have a look at that. Oh, this is just your little cards and shit. This is place objective markers, create the battlefield. There's a couple of things that I'm actually really, really keen to look at on this. Redeploy. Unless otherwise stated, such rules are resolved in this step. Yeah, cool. New orders in the command. Yeah, I don't think there's particularly anything here. They got secret missions in action, so we'll have a look at that. That's obviously great to have because that is what comes in your little deck pack. And if you don't have that, it can make it really, really hard. And I'm still trying to get my hand on a deck box. But let's have some cooking from chat and let's see how good you guys are going. Now, obviously, if there are people that have already seen it and you're just putting in here that I think this is going to happen because you saw it on there because you're a cheater, then, you get internet points for being smart when you am no smart. So, whatever, you played yourself. They're going to increase the points of Riptide, I'm calling it. Okay, we got to end up for the Riptide. Knights of both sorts, big winners. Call is a battle line unit now. Ret Carter may be on the menu. Custodies will go down in points unless they get rules updates. Crisis Broadside's cheaper. We have sad little change in our codex regarding the Trail Shapers. Spoilers! Spoilers, Dukas! Spoilers. Thanks, Jay. I wanted those points. Don't know what you're talking about. I've made strikes better, but I'm not hopeful. I wouldn't hold my breath. So where do we want to start? We got the Tournament Companion, we've got the Core Rules Update, we've got the Balanced Data Slate, and we've got... Okay, so let's have a look first and foremost at some of the tech stuff. Now, quick bit of shilling, because I need to shill. As we're pushing for full time, first off, Thank you very much to all my patrons who make all my videos possible. If you would like to join them, get access to the Discord, get access to everything else and discounted coaching and whatever else, head to links in the description and you can join our Patreon and help us start doing this full time rather than just every now and again when I've actually got some time to do it. Second off, if you would like to get yourself some coaching or some merch, go to pantheonstudios.com.au and you can get all of that and more and your dreams and rolling nothing but sixes. Disclaimer, you will not roll any sixes whatsoever. If you go to our website, you will only roll once. Okay, cool. So now with that out of the way, modifying a stratagem's CP cost, and this is the most interesting one, in my opinion, that will generally speaking apply to us. Rules that enable you to target a unit from your army with a stratagem for 0 CP, but do not specifically state the name of the stratagem, captain's rights of battle, instead reduce the CP cost of their use of that stratagem by 1 CP. If a model has a rule that would, once per battle, increase the CP cost of an opponent's stratagem, this is generally Vect, as it's colloquially known, Khalid Assassin Reign of Confusion, that rule is replaced with the following. Each time an opponent targets a unit from their army with a stratagem, if that unit is within 12 of this model, increase the cost of that stratagem by 1 CP. Increase the cost of that use of that stratagem by 1 CP. So, no longer anywhere on the battlefield or strategic reserves or whatever else, and you don't get to target a stratagem your opponent has, then go call for the rest of the battle. That's more expensive. Now, the biggest thing, reduce a stratagem's cost by 1 CP. Does anybody see anywhere that says battle tactic? Does anybody see anywhere that says only battle tactics? Oh, hi there, Commander Farsight. How are you doing? Would you like to 3-inch deep strike for 1 CP? Oh, well, boy, howdy, you'll be able to. You wonderful little man. Has somebody else from your army already done it? Well, you can do it again for 1 CP. You motherfucker. This is such a good change. Such a good change. Because the battle tactic only made a lot of parts of our codex feel like a... Because retaliation Carter, which Farsight naturally fits into, you were just looking at this scratching your head being like, why? But now we know why. If they've been cooking this in the lead up to it and testing it and whatever else, this means that, and like for my wolves, this is fantastic because now I can auto advance 19 and charge in the first turn. Previously I couldn't because it was 2 CP. Now, do I always want to do that? Maybe not. I might want full rerolls to charge and lance on the charge and being able to replicate that across units, but at least it's an option for turn 1 to potentially go and disrupt somebody's game plan. I think this is going to have some very, very big shakeups to how list writing is done, what units are viable, and what armies are able to make use of this in the best possible way. And it'll be interesting to see if people go to detachments. Stratagems that can be used more than once per phase or turn. Parts of a rule that allow a player to use a stratagem even if they've already targeted another unit with that stratagem in the same phase can only be used if the name of the stratagem is specified in that rule. Similarly, if a stratagem is limited to 1 use per player per turn, fire Overwatch, per battle round or battle round, such parts of the rule can only be used if the name of the stratagem is specified. So, unfortunately, a little bit of hype from me. I forgot about this part. Farsight won't be able to replicate anything because it just says a stratagem even if somebody else has used it. But I still stand by him being able to reduce the CP cost by 1 is still better than being able to do battle tactics for free, because in Montcar, all he could do was auto advance 6. Now you were, and the full rerolls to hit if he dies when you kill him. This is so much better. This is so much better, and this is going to have some big implications, even if this used more than once is a straight nerf to a lot of units. But anyway. Stratagems that prevent units from being targeted. If a stratagem has an effect that says the target unit can only be selected as a target of a ranged attack if the attacking model is within 12, or cannot be targeted by ranged attacks unless they're within 12, haloed in Soulfire, they call out from Grey Knights, that effect is changed to say can only be selected as the target of a ranged attack if the attacking model is within 18 inches. So, Kroot, Grey Knights, and I feel like there's something else, but I'm forgetting about it. All of that gets a pretty sizable nerf from this, but still not being able to shoot outside of 18 is still great. You just pre-measure and you plan around it. Yes, it's not as powerful, but there are a lot of armies that were able to abuse this quite a bit, and I think this is to curtail them. It might be, depending on how points go, be a little bit much, but we'll see. Stratagems that add new units to your army. If a stratagem has the effect of adding a new unit to your army that is identical to the destroyed, join the hunt, unending waves, reinforcements, add the following restriction to that stratagem. You can only use this stratagem once per battle. Pour one out for the crew. I mean, don't get me wrong, it doesn't kill them. It absolutely doesn't kill them. There were a lot of instances where I wasn't able to use join the hunt more than once in a game, but you know, this really hurts more, not the Crute, but Astra Militarum and GSC and fucking whatever. GSC, I don't think I have to pay a stratagem for it, but what am I trying to say? Endless Swarm Nids. So this one actually isn't that bad for us, but it will curtail some of that stuff so you don't just actually have an Endless Swarm, which is a little point of irony. So that's all the general stuff. In my opinion, the modifying a stratagem CP cost is like the biggest swing that they've made here, but there are a few bits and pieces to kind of rein that shit in. All right. Adeptus Sororitas, nothing. They just got a codex. They're not going to touch their rules. Nobody should be surprised by this. Absolutely nobody. All right, Shield Host. Martial Mastery, change the first paragraph to at the start of the battle round. You can select one of the bullet points below. If you do, until the start of the next battle round, that bullet points effects apply. Okay, so that, I believe, is like their Qatar stuff. So until the start of the next battle round, that bullet point. So it must be being a little bit more broad. I might even see if I can get someone like Adam on the horn to see how this is going to affect. Start of the command phase, select one unit from your opponent's army. This is Auric Champions, Assemblage of Might Detachment rule. Start of your command phase, select one unit from your opponent's army. Until the start of your next command phase, each time a model in a Custodes character unit from your army makes an attack, add one to the wound roll. Okay, so it's each time a model in the unit. So it doesn't just affect the characters anymore. It actually affects the units that they would join, which is just a really nice quality of life thing for this. It was a little bit boggling that only the characters would get that benefit. But yeah, so... so that is actually a downside, Sarah. That is, you can only get one benefit. Interesting. All right, AdMech. Now, I had a very, very long conversation with a friend that loves their AdMech. I don't know enough about this stuff, even trying to learn from them what any of this might mean. So some big things. They're Doctriners. Improve ballistic skill of models in a unit by 1, and each time a battle line keyword or within 6 of a battle line, subtract 1 to hit. So, and that's melee attacks targeting them. Or the Conqueror Imperative, improve weapon skill by 1, and each time a model in this unit makes an attack, if it's battle line or within 6 of a battle line, improve the AP by 1. So that is obviously a really nice bump to them. Then there's a whole bunch of other stuff. If you want to learn AdMech, one, you can get a coaching session with Chris O'Neill from the Pantheon team, or go to university, take out an AdMech degree, and then at the end of 4 years, plus 3 years of masters, plus 4 years of a PhD, you might be okay to buy the codex and know what you're talking about. Okay, that's AdMech. Now, this one, Strands of Fate... 6d6, I feel like they already did that. Fate's Messenger for the Bearer, that you've already done that. I think we're skipping over some old ground here. -2. Yeah, okay, so Eldari, nothing changed. Agents of the Imperium. This was the 10-man change for the Exaction Squad. That's already happened. Voice of Command, officer models can issue orders when you get out of transport. Okay, so nothing changed there. Black Templars, transport capacity of 14 Adeptus Astartes infantry for the Repulsor. Okay, cool. Impulsor, 7 Tacticus or Phobos or whatever. Blood Angels, Sons of Sanguinius. That was a change before, I think. +2 to strength, +1 to attacks. Chaos Knights, super heavy walker. Each time a model with this ability makes a normal advance or fallback move, it can move through models and sections of terrain feature that are 4 or less in height when doing so. Okay, can move into engagement range of any... within engagement range, we cannot end it there. Can also move through sections of terrain feature that are more than 4 inches in height, but if it does, after it has moved, roll 1d6 on a 1 that model is battle shocked. So, hang on. Can Chaos Knights walk through walls without spending the CP, and all they take for it is a battle shock? Oh, Born Soldiers changed in the guard rules. Okay. Oh, that's right. I do remember this one coming up. Each time a model in a regiment unit from your army makes a ranged attack, they have lethal hits. No more standing still. No more standing still, just lethal hits. Each time a model in a squadron unit attacks a monster or vehicle, then they get lethal hits. So, regiment attacking non-monsters and vehicles get lethals. Squadron attacking monsters and vehicles get lethals. That's pretty cool. So no strat duplication for Farsight and War Shapers? No, they won't be able to. No, it's the same for Imperial Knights. I was going to say, if you give that to Chaos Knights and not Imperial Knights, that's kind of fucked up. But, yeah, where are our Imp Knights? Let's go forward and let's check that. Imp Knights. I'll check the Bondsmans and everything else, but Super Heavy Walker, they can walk through fucking walls now. Now, a couple of important things to point out. This does say normal advance or fallback move. If Chaos Knights want to charge you, then you still need to spend the 1 CP to go through walls, if you're Chaos Knights. Imperial Knights, you can just get fucked. Yeah, so big boys walk through walls. Armigers or the war dogs pay a CP to walk through. If you're Imperial Knights, you get fucked. Cool. While we're on the topic of Knights, they've already done the 1 hit reroll, 1 wound reroll. That's fine. Bondsman, the Armiger model you select is affected by Bondsman. I think that already happened. Trophy Claim and Valiant Last Stand. I don't know anything about those, but whatever. I'm sure there's Knights players. I mean, Moria and Sarah and Chicken Coop, I know all are across rules, so I don't know if that's even relevant, but whatever. Chaos Space Marines. Warp Talons, Warp Strike. At the end of the fight phase, if this unit destroyed 1 or more enemy units this phase and is not within an engagement range, you can remove them and go to strategic reserves. That is no longer kill a model, that is kill a unit, because fuck Warp Talons. Demons. I don't know anything about demons. I'm sure it's something... I'm sure someone's going to be screeching about it, but whatever. Dark Angels, they real edgy. They're real edgy. So I don't know enough about Dark Angels. I'm not going to comment on that. I'm not a big fan of commenting on things where I have no fucking idea what I'm talking about. Change the parentheses at the end of the current rule to so enemy units within contagion range of it will have their characteristics modified. I think that's an important distinction for wording for things that ignore having their characteristics modified for any reason. Biologus, this is the grenade stratagem that I think, yeah, that was a change from before. That's fine. Deathwatch, you can get fucked. Nobody likes you. Drakari, and if it's a melee attack, improve the AP of that attack by 1. Okay, so you re-roll the hit roll from the power from pain. Reroll the hit roll and improve AP by 1, and then Archon is able to lead Incubi. Cool. Gene Steal is nothing. They just got their book. Data sheets for Grey Knights. It's in use part of a touch unit, not within 12. Oh, you can't Vortex Lone Op units anymore. Let's go Shadow Sun and Ghost Kills. Get fucked, librarians. If you do... So, yep, within it's invisible to the Psycho, excluding units with lone operative that are not part of an attached unit and are not within 12 of this Psycho. Okay. Excellent. So if they are lone op, but they're attached to a unit, you can't do anything about it. But yeah, cool. Nemesis Dread Knight ignores cover, AP2, 3 up. That all happened before. That's fine. Imperial Knights, we went over. Leagues of Votan. I had a read of this because I was a little bit excited. Nothing changed. Votan literally didn't get touched. Hypercrypt Legion, target 1 Necrons unit, excluding monster units, that is arriving from Deep Strike or Hyperphasing. That is for Cosmic Precision Stratagem. Green Tide. Each time an attack that targets a boys unit from your army, models in that unit have a 6+ invulnerable save. Each time an attack targets a boys unit from your army that contains 10 or more models, that unit has the 5+ invulnerable save against that attack. So you get them to less than 10, and they are a 6+ invulnerable save. They need to be more than that for a 5+. So, and notice it's not +1 to save anymore. It is just 5+, 6+. That is pretty good. That is pretty good. Tighter Muscle Stratagem until the end of the phase. Each time your unit declares a charge, add 1 to the charge roll, and if your unit contains 10 or more models, re-roll the charge roll. Okay, cool. Go Get 'em stratagem. You can re-roll the D6 to determine how far you can move. It's no longer a flat 6. It is a D6. Good. Oh, sorry. It's if your unit contains 10 or more, you could re-roll the D6 to see how far you can move. Cool. Mega Knobs, no more 4+, feel no pain, 5+. It is only 5+. Thank fuck GW is getting rid of 4+ invulnerable. 4+ feel no pains. Because, like, why? Why would that ever be a thing? Like, 4+ feel no pains are just so bullshit, especially on a model like that. Like, Arco Flatulence, I can kind of get it, but yeah, that's because they have a 7+ armor save. But anyway, Space Marines, Iron Storm, delete auras. They're trying to get rid of them in your command phase. Select 1 until the start of your next command phase. Weapons have lethal hits, so you have to select. You don't just get to aura it, which is a big nerf. Delete aura from Master of Machine in your command phase. You select, and then until the start of your next command phase, blah, blah, blah. Mercier's Weakness, changed to 2 CP. Cool, I don't know what that is. Desolation Squad is now 1 and 4 Marines, so that is only 5-mans, no more 10-mans. Impulsor, 7 Tacticus Phobos, or cannot transport jump pack. Repulsor is 14 infantry. Each jump pack, Wolfen, Gravis, or Terminator takes up a space of 2, and Centurions take up 3. Space Wolves, my beloved wolves, actually got a pretty good change. So, at the start of the first battle round, select one of the sagas listed below. That saga is considered to be completed by your army, and all Adeptus Astartes models from your army gain the associated benefit until the end of the battle. At the end of each player's turn, you can select one of the sagas listed below. If that saga was completed by your army during that turn, all Adeptus Astartes model gain the associated benefit until the end of the battle. You can only select each saga once per battle, so you can have all of them active, but you can just start with, for example, Sustained Hits 1. All my army has Sustained Hits 1. Or all of my army has +1 OC. You're not going to do that. Though, it makes it interesting for Wolfen going to OC1, meaning that they can do actions, they can take objectives, they can do whatever else. Saga of the Bear, models have a 6+ feel no pain. And Saga of the Beast Slayer, you have lethal hits. So there is a bit that you can do there. I'm interested to play with this and see if I like it more than fall back and advance and charge at all times. But we'll see. Tau Empire, none. Can I get a hallelujah? Tau, they were not going to make any changes to the rules that were going to be in our favor. So if they're not going to do anything, that is actually a net win. Hear me out. That is a net win. Do they get to do actions if they're base OC 0? They still get to do it because their OC after modifiers is 1. Can't select Saga of Majesty at the start. Which one's that? OC. Excluding the Saga, excluding Saga of Majesty, yeah. So this one you will have to do. So what do we have to do that? One or more objective markers in your opponent's deployment zone at the end of that turn. With how quick a lot of our stuff moves, I still feel like that is doable. I feel like that is very, 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 very doable very quickly. But anyway, that's fine. Saga of Majesty isn't something that I would be picking. I would probably be going for sustained or lethal hits. Probably sustained because our Thunderwolf Cav get lethal hits from other stuff, but it also means this opens up the ability to not just do Thunderwolf Cav spam. This opens up like Blood Claws and all that sort of shit where a massed lethal or sustained hits could be really, really good. Okay, Thousand Suns got some pretty big changes, so buckle up. So, Cabal of Sorcerers, each time you use a ritual, select 1000 Sun Psycho model from your army, excluding models that have already been selected for this rule this turn. It means that you can't go like, double stacking, reroll a save, and do this and do that. You do it on one unit, and that's it. Sorry, you cannot reselect a unit for a ritual. So, the index was updated today. What the fuck? Okay, well, we'll go and double check that. All right, Twist of Fate. Shooting phase, select one unit rather than, and I believe this is turning off armor save, you improve the AP by 2, which is a lot more healthy. For the game. So, Doombolt cannot target lone ops. You can see a theme happening here. On a 1, that enemy unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. On a 2 to 5, that enemy unit suffers D3 plus 3. And then on a 6, that unit suffers D3 plus 6. Temporal Surge. The same unit cannot be selected for this ritual more than once per phase. Thank fuck that, no double moving. No double moving on Big Boy Magnus or Terminator Bricks or whatever else. Just fuck those guys. And you cannot double move somebody if you've Doom Bolted. Very important. You cannot double move and Doom Bolt somebody. So that will rein in Thousand Suns quite a lot. Binding Tendrils. In your shooting phase after this model is shot, select one enemy unit excluding monsters and vehicles. Hit by one or more of those attacks with its arcane fire. Until the start of your next turn, that enemy unit is pinned. While it's pinned, subtract 2 from move and 2 from charge rolls. Yeah, okay, cool. Nids, I don't know enough about Nids, but while a Tyranids unit from your army is within Synapse range of your army, they do their Battle Shock on a 3d6 instead of a 2d6. Each time that model makes a melee attack, and this is the base Synapse army rule, add 1 to the strength characteristic of that attack. Not bad. Not bad. Shadow in the Warp. Each time an enemy unit takes such a Battle Shock test, if it is within 6 of one or more Synapse units, subtract 1. Cool. And then Crusher Stampede. While a Tyranid monster unit from your army is at its starting strength, add 2 to the objective control characteristics of models. Yeah, okay. Untrammeled Ferocity. Move and engage. Whatever. I don't really care about Crusher Stampede. You never see him. Data Sheets. Hive Tyrant. Got Assault, but now also lethal hits in a 6-inch aura around that Hive Tyrant. Incredible. Neurolictor, these nuts, got Synapse. Neuro Tyrant can be attached to now Zoanthropes, is added to the list. Broodlord and Parasite of Mortrex, they have Faction Shadow in the Warp. Keywords, add the following to both datasheets Synapse, so now they're both Synapse units. Morlock, Ravener and Trigon keywords, add the following Vanguard Invader, which is very, very good for the Snake build. Exocrine ranged weapons, notice they went to Strength 9, and the Tyrannifex Rupture Cannon went to D6 plus 6. On a 2-shot gun, that's actually pretty cool. That's what a friggin' Hammerhead wishes it was. Then World Eaters, Berserker Glaive Enhancement. Add 1 to the attacks and damage of melee weapons equipped. So I believe that's a nerf because I was running through this with one of my Pantheon tier members. I believe that was 2 before. Favorite of Khorne, once per battle. When you make a Blessing of Khorne roll, you can discard them and re-roll. That is a big nerf. And while a friendly world is infantry models within 6 models have a 5-up invulnerable save, unless they already have an invulnerable save, in which case they have a 4-up. Cool. So that is our list of rules changes. Let's catch up on a little bit of chat and let's go over to L Point Arenos. We will also open up the index, where is our Tau index? Let's see, it has been updated. Yep, okay, so let's check this before I go to chat. Sunforge unit makes a ranged attack, targets it, okay. So, this is the big one. This is, okay, everybody. I'm actually going to put my standing desk up to standing because this is this important. This important, okay? Just give me a sec. So while we get ready on this momentous occasion to read a line of text that breaks my heart. Crit ambush. After both players have deployed their armies, you can redeploy this model's unit in one of the friendly crit unit. When doing so, any of those units can be placed in strat reserves, regardless of how many that are in strat reserves. Can anybody see what the change is here? No longer after you find out which player is going first, but rather after both players have deployed their armies. We had such a cool rule. We had such a cool combination. Now, was it so powerful that I was including it in every single list I wrote? Yes. Will I still be including it in almost every list I write? Also, yes. Yes, I will. However, it breaks my goddamn heart. I'm not actually going to pour it out, but, you know, here's to you, Trail Shaper. It was nice while we had it. At least I got a few games with your ability. Now, is it dead? No. No, it's not. The tech is not dead. It is just not nearly as powerful. Oh, rip. Okay, so, do you want to see something fun? Sisters ain't doing it for themselves. Now, is this like crushing nerfs? No, it's not. 150 points for Arcos. You may actually still see them. Canoness with Jump Pack was way too cheap. The Castigator was probably too cheap. Celestian Sacrosanct, I don't think you'll see anymore. The Demonofuge, I'll still take them for 85 points. Battle Sisters going from 100, I think it was, to 115 is a lot. Hospitaller at 50 is fine, I guess. 65 for an Image of Fire. The Immolator going to 115, fine. Minister and Priest, fine. Not that you can get your hands on the model. Mortifiers going up. Morven Vile going up. She's still incredible at 160. I think you still take her. Penetrant Engines at 75 and 150. Yeah, okay, cool. Repentia at 180 per squad. I don't know that you ever take these outside of the actual detachment to benefit them. Rets at 125 is still great. Celestine at 160, we'll see. Seraphim squad at 85 for 5, I'd still do it. Novitiates, no opinion. Triumph of St. Catherine, get fucked. Zephyrum, 90 for 5, probably still do it. Penitent Host, all of these things went up. Hallowed Martyrs, every single one of them went up. Nothing for Bringers of Flame, which is... like, this is arguably the strongest detachment in the thing. Army of Faith, Litanies of Faith actually went down, and the Blade of St. Eleanor went up. Now, I am going to rush ahead a little bit because I want to see what happened to my boys. Who thinks we got better? Who thinks we got better? Oh, and Sarah, 100% agree. Like, Sisters Codex may be the most flavorful, the biggest example of the writers understood the assignment. They understood the army. They understood what it needed to be. And even with these nerfs, I am still going to be learning them and playing them. I'm still going to be learning them and playing them, and I actually feel better about this because now people can't be like, you're a meta-chasing cuck. Which, don't get me wrong, I am a meta-chasing cuck. I love being a meta-chasing cuck. Even when I'm not meta-chasing, I'll still cuck it up. I'll just be in the corner dressed as Batman Jack in it. But now I get to do so without people saying that to me, which is what's most important. It's what's most important after all. Let's go to Tau. And let's see who reckons we got better. Who reckons we got worse? And if we got better or worse, how? What's your language, Jay? Which part? Between the F word, the C-bomb, or jacking it in the corner dressed as Batman? Like, which one was about the same? Oh, interesting. Yes. see the green on this sheet? Woo! Let's fucking go, Tau! Fishies are doing it for themselves. Oh, okay, let's get into this. All right, now, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Breaches, most fuckable data sheet in our codex. But they didn't need to change points. At 100 points, they're still fine. They're still absolutely fine. Broadsides, 90 points for 1, 180 for 2, 300 for 3. Now, I don't strictly get why we have a 10-point tax on the last broadside. Oh, no, sorry. We have a 10-point tax on every single one of them if we take 3. 2 for 180? Fine. Absolutely fine. Broadside just got a massive glow up on that, going from 110 to 90 points. Oh boy. Commander and Cold Star, 95 points. Enforcer, 80 points. Fire Knives, 130. Star Sides, which didn't need to go down, 110. Sun Forges, 150. That is exactly what I said we needed. You know, it really does get to me that I'm right about everything all the time. It's actually becoming problematic. It's making me nervous about how fucking right I am about everything at all times. I don't know what to do with this curse. This curse of always being the smartest motherfucker in the room. Oh! And it's also, it kind of confirms that GW kind of watches my streams because, like, fucking just 4 times in a row now, Jay says something, GW does it. Coincidence? I think not. Chicken Coop, thank you, $2.99. A good bull would be ignoring you anyway. Wait, a bull? Huh? Jay's Team Skyray anyway. Jay is Team Skyray anyway. Which, by the way, hammerheads went up. What? What? So, Commander Pure Tide and Hayden Walduck go and, like, do well at some events with hammerheads, and GW's like, oh my god, hit the big red nerf button! Ah! Oh, fuck. Sarah, the $5 super chat. To get support and help you need for being right all the time. Thank you, Sarah. I appreciate it. And previous to that, $10 super chat for the fish fund. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you to both of you. Oh my god. And then have a, like, okay, they did my boy dirty. The Storm Surge stayed at 400, but the Skyray not moving is baffling. Baffling. This is like premier anti-tank and the hammerhead gets hit. I mean, like, not even just retaliation, Carter. Every single list benefits from these crisis suits and the commanders and the broadsides going down in points. Nothing else changes because nothing else needed to. Oh, I mean, the Storm Surge needed to go down, but, you know, whatever, that's neither here nor there. The strike team going down to 75. Excuse me, just... Nobody cares. Oh, strike team, you are really the joke that just keeps on giving. Oh my god. So we didn't need any other changes. Didn't need any other changes. Yes, we will be going back through all the other armies, but obviously my first love had to take my attention. But this is just nothing but good buffs because I wasn't telling people to take hammerheads ever. Like, you can if you want, but with them at 145 or just take a Skyray lobbing Seeker missiles at people, like, yeah. There's still another big Tau buff in the core book. So I looked up the index What else? What else am I missing? What else am I missing? Is it index cards? Eldari, let's go all the way to the bottom. World Eaters, Thousand Suns. No, there's no Tau in here. Okay. Where am I looking for that shit? Quick start guide, core rules. It might be in the core rules updates. No, it won't be. It won't be. There's a lot to go through here, and because GW keeps in a lot of old stuff, I'll probably peruse that in a lot more detail and do a separate video for it. But yeah. All right, points. Let's go and look at everybody else. Custodes, just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And I actually know that these guys got one of the kind of biggest buffs. I think it's the Venatari Custodians. For the data sheet that is, they are ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. The Gravitac went down, the Telemon went down, Venatari went down, Aquilin Custodes, Agamatus, it's all the Forge World stuff, and then detachments. Nothing else really moved because I think they just got some rules updates or whatever. But from what I've heard from Custodes players, they're looking pretty cracked. Admech, wow, that is a lot of red. All right, I'll stay in the points. There you go, Sarah. Actually, let's full screen this shit so it looks a little bit better. There we go. All right. Holy Grail, not to be outdone. $5 super chat. It's a celebration. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. So that's the points for Custodes. Admech is a shitload of red. Which, I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense. Fuck Admech. Am I right? Like, you know, raise your hand if you've ever considered playing Admech. Okay. Titanicus, nothing. Eldari had the character Azumin go down. Dark Reapers, Fire Dragons, Skyweavers, Swooping Hawks, Yvrain, and Warp Spiders all went up. But we did see a cut on Janezar, Karandrus, Malgan Ra, Void Weavers, and Vipers. Oh, and the Wraith Lord. I don't know enough about Eldari. I haven't started the process of learning them, but I mean, it might change some stuff for them. It might not. I think Skyweavers were seeing a lot of play. Warp Spiders and Fire Dragons and Dark Reapers were being taken all the time. I can't tell you the last time I saw Janezar, Karandrus, Malgan Ra, or the Void Weavers on the table. So, you know, good for them. Good for them. I play Admech. No, you don't. Stop lying to the stream. Anybody who says they played Admech doesn't play Admech. They just like to put their dick in their toaster. Shadow... sorry. Shadow Spectres also went up because fuck Shadow Spectres. Agents of the Imperium didn't move. Astra Militarum. We have Venatari going down 35 points. Hello? Yeah, I know, right? I know, right? Jay is just on tonight. I'm on all the time. Yeah, unless I'm not and I'm staring into the void and dealing with a existential crisis. But anyway, we can cover that up with drugs and alcohol and Warhammer. Warhammer being the most dangerous of those addictive substances. Armor Sentinels, 65, 130, 195. Cool. Basilisk, 140. Now, I believe that there was a fundamental change. And I'll have to go and find that, but it wasn't listed in there, so I'll double check it. It's probably in the core rules commentary, but I believe that out of line of sight shoot or indirect shooting changed, and that's why Astra Militarum got their lethal hits all the time, so they could benefit from it even when they weren't moving, and because indirect is just strictly worse now. To memory, you cannot ever hit on better than a 4 with indirect. 1s, 2s, 3s, always miss, regardless of modifiers. So, how bad was getting screwed? I mean, getting screwed is never bad. You just gotta have a good attitude and use lots of lube. Kazakin have gone down. Manticore has gone down to 175. Rogel Dawn has gone down to 240. Good for them. The Rogel Dawn's obviously nice having a new tank. Nothing else from the second page. Black Templars, good, get fucked. Gladiator Reaper and the Valiant went up to 170, no other changes. Blood Angels, no changes whatsoever. I don't think they needed it. I think Blood Angels were in a place where, like, they were good, but they weren't really, like, rolling over people. They weren't, going to events and just being the absolute friggin' boogeyman. So, Demons, Be'lakor goes down. Bloodthirster goes down. Demon Princes of both varieties go down. Demonettes go down. Sexist. Fate Skimmer, Fiends, Nurglings, Plague Drones, Soul Grinder, Skullcat. For anybody who's confused about that joke, the fact that, like, demon princes don't have to get genderized, but then, the female demons need to get genderized, so we know that they're female. Anyway, just don't mind me. Skull Cannon, Soul Grinder went down. Cool, good for them. Chaos Knights, the Abominant went down, the Despoiler went down, the Acheron and the Atropos, the Cerastus, the Questoris Knight Styrix, and the Traitorus Lance Detachment Enhancements, Lord of Dread went down. Very, very nice. Very, very nice. So, generally speaking, I think that this is just going to, from what I'm looking at, this is just going to incentivize some of the bigger models that weren't always being taken, getting taken more. I see the Lancer is on there at 420, so this is just for Blazer. I feel really bad about doing that. I actually feel like that's one of those moments where, like, a boomer says something really terrible and then it's just memed on by the entire internet forever. But anyway, with all my shame and embarrassment, I think this just makes Sam's list even better. Basically, none of them are worth taking. Yeah, fair. Please, Jay, stop. I will never stop until I'm dead, and then I won't have a choice but to stop. Chaos Space Marines. Because fuck Chaos Space Marines. Accursed Cultist, Predator Annihilator, Predator Destructor, Vindicator went up, Havocs went up, Legionnaires went up, Raptors went up, Venom Crawler went up, and Warp Talons went up. This is so good for us. Oh my God. Because, and I cannot state this enough, CSM, go fuck yourself. The Emperor was right. I don't know what to tell you. You're slaves to a bunch of gods that are just toying with your emotions. One of them puts stuff in you. One of them changes everything about you. One of them makes you a bloated, fat pus carcass. And the other one's pretty cool. Blood for the Blood God. Let's go, buddy. So, Dark Angels, Deathwing Knights, and Ravenwing Darkshroud went up. I never saw Dark Angels, so I don't think... I have no opinion on this. I couldn't even tell you what Dark Angels do from their codex. They're Marines? Yep. Death Guard, they had the Blight Lord Terminators go down, they had the Plague Surgeon go down, the Mephitic Blight Haulers, and the Noxious Blight Bringer. The Foul Blight Spawn went up, and the Biologist Putrefier went up as well. I don't know what this means for Death Guard. Feud, if you're still in here, yes, no, yes. It's probably something, right? But at the end of the day, I think Death Guard, after playing into them with the Wolves, I would prefer to see more red on here because fuck Death Guard, because they're just another flavor of Chaos Space Marines. But anyway, Death Watch, the Veterans go down, the Watchmaster goes down, Watch Captain Artemis goes down. They need a lot more help than this. They need a lot more help than this. Yeah, the indirect change would really, really hurt you. Really hurt you. Drakari, the Scourgers, what does the orange mean? Oh, it means that some went up, some went down. So if you take a 5, it's more expensive. If you take a 10, it's less expensive. Ravagers and Grotesque went down. Okay, cool. Drakari, I don't think needed a ton of changes. They've been doing just fine. GSC, interesting. Getting a lot of changes here. A lot of changes. So the Ridge Runners and the Acolyte Hybrid with auto pistols go down. The Icon Ward and the Atalan Jackals go up. Biophagus and the Clamavis go up. Why did I feel like a yokel saying that? Hey, Biophagus Clamavis, get out here. Need that Acolyte Icon Ward. Goliath Rock Grinder went down. Jackal Alphys and a Kelemorph went up. Alokus and Omegas went down. Nexos, Patriarch, Primus all went up, and the Pure Strain Gene Stealers went down. Detachment Enhancements, the Alien Majesty and Biomorph Adaptation went up, while the Mutagenic Regeneration and the Predatory Instincts went down. And actually, we're kind of seeing that from each of them. This had 2 go down, 2 go up, 2 go down, 2 go down, 3 go down and 1 up, and 1 up, 2 down. Nope. 1 down, 2 up. I don't know enough about Gene Stealer cults, but what I can say is that this is likely a pretty directed sort of thing at maybe some of the better data sheets, and then making points better for some of the less seen things, just from like early lists that I've seen. Grey Knights, they have gotten hit. Castle and Crow goes up. Grandmaster and Nemesis Dread Knight goes up. The Crusader goes down to 220, but a Redeemer goes up to 285. Stormraven Gunship, okay, goes up to 280, and a Nemesis Dread Knight goes up to 205. This is very clearly to combat the Dread Knight spam that a lot of Grey Knights lists were doing very, very well with. I also know the Redeemer was being used in a lot of lists, and it was doing quite well. Imperial Knights, nothing but buffs. Paladin, Atrapos, Lancer, Styrex all went down. Mysterious Guardian went down, and Revered Knight went down. Good for them. Good for them. Now they can move through walls. That's fucking terrifying. Necrons. Okay, GW, I see a problem here. There is text under the Necron section. It hasn't been deleted. What the shit? We had an agreement. First off, I want to say that I, for one, welcome our new Overlord Trays in the Infinite, but Necrons was supposed to be deleted this MFM. I'm going to give you one more chance. And if you do this to me 13 or 14 more times, I'm going to get really upset and think about leaving. But I guess since they're here, Necrons, the Doomstalkers go down, up, the Wraiths go up, and nothing else gets touched. I think that these were probably the two things that were causing the most issues in a lot of the most popular Necron lists. So hopefully this actually means that Necron players have to go a little bit wider and use a couple of different things rather than just spamming 6 Canoptic Wraith units and then whatever. All right, Orcs. Boss Snickrot, no surprise, goes up. He was way too good. Meganobs go up for every single iteration of the models. Pain Boss and Pain Boy both go up, and a Weird Boy goes up. These were the things that you were seeing in like almost every single list. So some very, very directed nerfs there. Notice that they didn't touch the boys, they didn't touch Storm Boys, they didn't do all that sort of stuff. They are wanting to take some of the power out of the characters that are making Green Tide so good. Boss Snickrot, who fits into any list that you throw him into because he's that good. And Meganobs for Bully Boys, or even just having like a Terminator brick for the Green Tide. Though I don't think Green Tide was using them a ton. Detachments, nothing changed. Space Marines, Crusader goes down, Redeemer goes up. You're seeing a pattern. Reaper and Valiant go up, though it's 10 points more expensive for Black Templars. That is in line with the Black Templars being able to take a bunch of weapons that other people like basically just couldn't and were paying the same price as all other Space Marines. And then we have the Repulsor going down, the Stormraven gunship going up. Again, same thing with the Grey Knights. And Iron Storm, to factor in for it not being an aura but a directed ability, getting a points cut on their enhancements. Space Wolves. Nobody should be surprised by this. And literally, we have gotten away with murder that these are the changes that we get. 100 points for a 3 rider unit of Thunderwolf Cav, or 200 for 6, and 180 and 90 for Wolfen, 10 and 5 respectively. That is not a bad change. Space Wolves were probably in too good a spot, and this will at least make it so you have one thing less on the board. Though I'll be honest, these points are probably going to come out of the Wolfen unit I was going to be cutting and putting in like another Scouts unit or something. But we'll see if this changes how any of the lists shake out. And with some of the changes to the sagas, I'm actually curious whether a different list other than the Thunderwolf Cav list starts showing its head for these guys. But yeah. Tau Empire, I'm just going to leave this here again because, like, fucking look at this! It is a good time to be a Tau player. Fuck Hammerheads. 1,000 Suns, with some of the changes they got, this shouldn't surprise anybody. The Mutilith Vortex Beast is going down. Exalted Sorcerer and Disc of Tzeentch and the Scarab Occult Terminators are getting a little bit of love. Nothing else is changing. We'll see how this shakes out for them, though I think 1,000 Suns will be a decidedly worse army, though not in the dumpster. Biovore's going down, Mucilid Spore's going down, and Neurolictides Nuts is going up. Ripper Swarms, one model is more expensive, 3 models are cheaper. Now, I just want to point something out. Does anybody notice that my boys, the Crit Hounds, who are 0 OC, did not change in points? Even though 0 OC can't do actions, and obviously we have characters are able to stand near them. But GW said 0 OC units are likely going to see a change to factor in for that they can't friggin' do anything. Anyway, rant over. My Crit Hounds got gutted, and I'm still a little raw about it. Terpagon going down. And then Vanguard Onslaught, the Neuro Node goes down. Cool, good for them. With some of the nerfs that World Eaters got, 8-bound and Exalted 8-bound are going down. That is good for them. That's some of their better data sheets, though there are obviously lists which are doing like Jacqueline Corn Berserker spam. There's a couple with like Lord of Skulls and the Bloodthirsters and that sort of stuff. So we'll see how that lands for them. But yeah, that is our points. And that is some pretty big changes overall. And I still even haven't gotten to the point of the core rules changes where we've got indirect and we've got everything else. Let's see if they put some stuff up the top for us. Okay, so updates and errata, redeployments. All redeploys are now... I'll go through the rule. Rules that allow players to redeploy certain units after both armies are deployed are always resolved after the deploy army step and before the determine first turn step, before determining who has the first turn. When a player uses such a rule, they remove that unit or units from the battlefield, then deploy them again using all the normal rules. For example, if a model has Infiltrator, you can use Infiltrate to set it up. Players alternate resolving any such rules, starting with the attacker. Now, what this functionally means, there are no after the go first roll changes. So Tau aren't the only ones. Trail Shaper is not the only one. Everybody is hit by this. Everybody. Page 6, unit coherency. If for any reason a model cannot be set up in unit coherency or cannot be set up following any restrictions stated by other rules while setting up Deep Strike ability, that unit cannot be set up. If a unit cannot end a move in unit coherency, cannot make that move in models, blah, blah, blah. That's to stop you setting up, having it out of coherency and just killing off a model and getting into a place that you shouldn't have been able to get into. But anyway. Okay, out of phase rules. I think this is the same as the other one. Yeah, this is the, like, you can't use Big Guns Never Tire during, like, Overwatch or whatever. Because it's only Big Guns Never Tire is in your shooting phase. So, persisting effects, gaining command points. Yep, Battle Shock. In this step, if for any reason a unit is forced to take a Battle Shock test for being below its starting strength, unless otherwise stated, that unit does not also have to take a Battle Shock test for being below half strength. While a unit is Battle Shocked, all models in that unit are also Battle Shocked. Chaos Knights. That one's aimed at you. That one's aimed at you. All right. So move units, move model. While you're moving it, cannot be moved through. Yeah, that's fine. Straight lines, pivots. Oh, this one's a big one. Okay. For any of the vehicle lovers out there, when you pivot, you no longer... models have a pivot value of 0 inches unless stated otherwise. Monsters and vehicle models have a pivot value of 2 inches unless otherwise stated. So, if you are anything but a monster and a vehicle, you can freely rotate without having to pay anything, which you didn't before. Monsters and vehicles, excluding models on round bases and aircraft models, have a pivot value of 2 inches unless otherwise stated. So what that means, it's not that you can only pivot 2 inches. It is that when you pivot any amount, you pivot using 2 inches of your movement. So they've got a little bit of a thing here. Center of model without a base, pivoting around the central axis, moving with a pivot value of 0. You can see that they've turned them. And then so they've gone 3, they've turned, and then they've gone 2. It has not cost them to rotate. As this model has a pivot value of 0, it can pivot at any time during this move. This one, if a vehicle has a 12, it moves 6 in a straight line, then 6 in another straight line, measuring from and to the same point each time it moves. It does not pivot as part of this move. Then, moving with a pivot value of 2 inches. The same vehicle moves 6 inches in a straight line and then 4 inches in another straight line, pivoting around its central axis at the end of its move. This pivot subtracts its pivot value of 2 inches from the remaining distance it can move, so it cannot move further. Cool. So, moving with multiple pivots. And they were wanting to do this to clean it up, but I still feel like this is something that people are going to get very, very wrong. The same vehicle pivots more than once during its move, but the total distance it can move is still only reduced by its pivot value of 2 inches. It moves 5 inches in a straight line, pivoting around its central axis, then 5 inches in another straight line, pivoting around its central axis again. You can freely pivot along your move, but no part of the model can go further than your fucking 12 inches or whatever you've got. So moving overhanging models with a pivot value of 2, you can see that he's gone in 6, and then 4, Bloodthirster is declared a charge target with the Terminator squad. Its charge rolls are 12. The gap in the ruins is wide enough for the model's base, so it can move through that gap despite its wings. It moves 6 inches in a straight line, then pivots around its central axis, subtracting its pivot value of 2 inches from the charge roll, then moves 4 inches in a straight line to complete its charge move. So, even though it moved further than 2 inches on its pivot, you only subtract 2 inches for doing so. And you only ever have to, across a move, subtract 2 inches to pivot. And you don't have to pay it more than once. That is essentially what that's saying. What that means is that, and this is actually, let's bring up TTS. Let's bring up TTS because this will affect a lot of stuff that Tau players do or Wolves or anybody. This is going to shake up the game in such an enormous way. Let me show you what I mean, because my deployment for Tau is very often determined, especially with Devilfish and Storm Surges or, Sky Rays or whatever else. Let's go into a game, let's set it up, and I'll show you what I mean. So, take blue player, because blue is smarter, but red goes faster. Let's just go this one, and I will have to search for the new map packs as well. So, we're going let's just go hammer and anvil. Now, if I were looking at this gap, and I was setting down some Devilfish, let's go Alex's Moncalis, because I know that he's got some Devilfish and Sky Rays and whatever in there. So, we grab this. Now, ordinarily, I would be concerned because this guy actually can't fit through here in one move because the engine has to rotate to get past, and then the gun just there has to get past. You can see we are actually thicker than this gap. So I would be like, all right, I have to orientate like that, which would put me back there. But in certain instances, that could make it so that I, if I was starting in here, for example, let's get rid of that. I would be like, okay, if I actually follow the line of this building, and it's not a perfect example because obviously they can see me through there, but just stay with me. Or actually, perfect example, I might want to get into this building. And so, I can stay here, but then I'm like, oh, I've got to move, and then I've got to rotate, and then I've got to do everything else. But now, if I want to move through somewhere, I can actually just start oriented however, and it's not going to affect me so much because I'm cognizant of this every time I'm doing everything, but it stops a worse player from going, oh shit, I can't move through there, and I've got to move up like this, and I've got to move up like this, and I've got to rotate, and then I've got to do this, and I've got to measure all that stuff, and your opponent gets shitty because people who don't know that they had to measure from the longest part of the move and everything. This was something I spent so much time coaching for so many different people. Very few people knew this about the game. But now They just go, okay, well, I want to go this far, so I've got to go here. I've got to clear the wall. So I'll do that from the back engine that has to, get past there. So I move 8 inches and I clear the wall there. And then I'm going to use 2 inches to rotate because I want to rotate like this. And then I've got another 2 inches because I used, 8, 2. Yeah, I've got another 2 before I advance. So then I'm there without all of the dicky measuring and whatever else. And then for circular bases, for our crisis suits, for example, with their weapons and everything, if I'm wanting them to be particularly safe through an area, I can actually just have them rotated like this. And then if I want to, I can rotate them to get a line of sight around a building. GW has said loud and clear, we are happy with you if we've got something with massive wings or whatever. I'm fine with you moving up to here and then being like, oh shit, I can't see. My last 2 inches, I'm actually going to swing my ass around so that I can see around here. Bam, done. I can sit just back here and use a tiny bit of rotation if I've got massive wings like a bloodthirster to go around there. And that's something that a lot of people didn't know as well with the wings and stuff. If you were clipping through a building, there were a lot of people like, why can't I just move through there? Because in 9th, it was a lot simpler because you could just ignore buildings and stuff when you were doing that. But anyway. So being able to orientate your vehicles kind of however you want, and just pay a 2-inch tax to rotate freely means that you are going to simplify the game quite a bit and stop people from being able to get caught out in a way where you're like, all right, you set yourself up like that. Now, you can barely fit through there. You don't have to do your rotation and you're going around, whatever. Does all that make sense? So that is why, in my opinion, this change is such a big deal. All right, let's... Okay, shooting phase. Unless one model in a unit is an eligible target for one or more of its ranged weapons, that model's unit cannot be selected to shoot. This is a great thing to add in because there was a lot of people trying to scam this where you select to shoot and then you fire and fade or you do whatever. You must have a ranged weapon which is eligible to be able to shoot and then go from there. Note that this doesn't change your eligibility to shoot, but it does not mean that your unit cannot be selected to shoot at nothing and therefore won't qualify for other rules. Gargoyles, Winged Swarm ability, and Dark Pacts. Very important. Very, very important. Sides are back, baby. Yes, they are, Collegia. Yes, they are. Mortal Wounds. This one is a big one. Some rules inflict mortal wounds on units. Each time they're inflicted, each one of those mortal wounds does 1 point of damage, blah, blah, blah. Actually, is this where the devastating wounds change is? Each mortal wound is allocated to a model in the same manner as allocating an attack. Excess damage from mortal wounds is not lost if the damage can be allocated to another model. Instead, keep doing it, blah, blah, blah. If an attack inflicts mortal wounds in addition to any normal damage, do not make a wound or saving throw. It's allocated afterwards. The attacking model's controlling player can allocate those mortal wounds to a character model in that unit. So this, if those mortal wounds are inflicted by an attack that has a precision ability, you can put those mortal wounds onto a character model. Very, very good for people with precision. If mortal wounds are being inflicted as a result of hazardous or by an attack with the devastating wounds ability that scored a critical wound, each time those mortal wounds are allocated to a model, if that model is destroyed as a result of those mortal wounds, the remaining mortal wounds from that attack are lost, just as with a normal attack. Devastating wounds, so mortal wounds from a hazardous ability or by a devastating wounds ability do not spill over. Now, why is this important? There are certain things that you can overcharge to get hazardous on the weapon and they deal like mortal wounds in addition or they do like whatever. Those mortal wounds cannot carry over. Devastating wounds are now treated like mortal wounds without spillover, which means you feel no pains against mortal wounds or that sort of stuff. You cannot spill them over, just as with a normal attack. So when a unit is selected to shoot or fight, one or more of its attacks can inflict mortal wounds on the target, resolve any normal damage before doing the mortal wounds. We already knew that. All right, so unless the source of the mortal wounds is the hazardous ability or an attack with the devastating wounds ability, damage from mortal wounds is not lost and it can be allocated to another model. So that is a very, very, very big change. Very big change. Indirect fire, weapons with indirect fire, and notice that it says mortal wounds by a devastating wounds ability. Dev wounds are no longer their own category. Dev wounds will cause mortal wounds, but they just don't spill over. So they're making that distinction. So with the change to devastating wounds, we're used to that. All right, indirect fire. The big thing, an unmodified hit roll of 1 to 3 always fails. And the benefit of cover, the target has the benefit of cover against that attack. Really massive change to indirect. Okay, hazardous result of attacks. When failed each test, select one enemy model, possible excluding characters, equipped with one or more hazardous. Otherwise, select one character model. Blah blah blah. I think this is if a unit from a player's army is selected as the target of a fire or Overwatch stratagem in their opponent's charge phase, any mortal wounds inflicted by hazardous tests are allocated after the charging unit has ended its charge move. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. So, if a unit from a player's army is selected as the target of the fire Overwatch stratagem in their opponent's charge phase, any mortal wounds inflicted by hazardous tests are allocated after the charging unit has ended its charge move. Meaning that there might actually be some, like, one, it stops you from doing hazardous, taking mortal wounds, and like removing units or models to make your opponent's charge longer. So you can't cheese them out anymore. And then after they finish their move, you can actually pull them out so that you're not technically in combat, though they do still get their pile-in move, then their consolidation move if they're eligible for one. But you may actually be able to use that after they've finished and they've landed in base-to-base with something which is like right on the extremity of the unit, then start pulling models from the front. So really, really interesting there. Really interesting. Extra attacks. Each time the bearer of one or more extra attacks weapons fights, it makes attacks which with each of the extra attacks melee weapons is equipped with, and is equipped with does not have the extra attacks ability, if any. Huh? Well, one of the melee weapons that doesn't have extra attacks. The number of attacks made with an extra attacks weapon cannot be modified by other rules unless that weapon's name is explicitly specified in that rule. So no more getting extra attacks on, I don't know if Blood Angels actually have that, but like the extra attacks from that, you can't get it. Devastating wounds. Weapons with devastating wounds. Each time an attack is made with such a weapon, if it scores a critical wound, no saving throw of any kind, including invulnerable saves. Such attacks are only allocated to models after all other attacks made by the attacking unit have been allocated and resolved. You cannot use devastating wounds first and then have normal attacks go through. It follows the same sequence as mortal wounds. After that attack is allocated and after any modifiers are applied, it inflicts a number of mortal wounds on the target equal to the damage characteristic of that attack instead of inflicting damage normally. Now, I know what you're thinking. Broadside's S tier, because apparently that ability is actually relevant now. God, I really needed that drink. So dev wounds are now functionally mortal wounds that do not carry over. Cool. Cannot reduce a move to less than 1 inch. Yep, we already knew that. Toughness cannot go below 1. Saves cannot be 1+ or better because that would be ridiculous. Leadership, after all modifiers are applied, this cannot be 4+ or better or 9+ or worse. So for any leadership modifiers or whatever else, there are some units you will just get no benefit from swinging it one way or the other because they're just too far onto those extremes. OC, after all modifiers are applied, this cannot be less than 0. Okay, weapons, range. For ranged weapons, after all modifiers are applied, cannot be less than 1. Attacks cannot be less than 1. Weapon skill, ballistic skill, strength cannot be less than 1. AP can't be less than 0. Damage can't be less than 1. Deep strike, if a unit with a deep strike ability arrives from strategic reserves, the controlling player can choose for that unit to be set up using either strategic reserves or using deep strike. Now, this actually comes up more than you would think where people think there is a difference between Strat Reserve and Deep Strike. And while Deep Strike doesn't count to the same limits at the start of the game, when you are setting a unit up from reserves, they are coming from strategic reserves, but you are choosing to use a Deep Strike rule that they have. And so all other rules that trigger, on that, all rules that trigger on strategic reserves or being set up from reserves happen on Strat Reserves or Deep Strike. You are just choosing to use an additional rule during setting up step of the reinforcement step. All right. Leader. What does this one do? Each time the last model in a bodyguard unit is destroyed, each character that's part of that attached unit becomes a separate unit with its original starting strength. If this happens as a result of an attack, they become separate units after the attacking unit has resolved all of its attacks. So, each time the last model in a character unit that is attached to a bodyguard unit is destroyed, and there is not another character unit attached, that attached unit's bodyguard unit becomes a separate unit with its starting strength after all attacks have been resolved. Each time a unit that is part of an attached unit is destroyed, it does not have the keywords of any other units that make up that attached unit unless it has those keywords on its own data sheet for the purposes of any rules that will be triggered when that unit is destroyed. So, there was a question coming up about, for Bring It Down, if a character joins a monster unit or a monstrous character joins a non-monster unit, do you get Bring It Down for killing the bodyguard unit? This is saying no. No, it is not. And notice also for our War Shapers, for Join the Hunt, we're going to be able to modify the CP because this sets a precedent for the step between just destroyed, removed from play, because you only become a separate unit after all of the attacks are resolved, which means that there is actually steps in between those, which I'll have a think about this more, but I'm pretty sure this gives us a precedent for, they don't instantly detach. It's after all of the attacks are resolved and you kind of go from there. Now, obviously that creates some weird sequencing stuff where if the attacks are all resolved, then are you saying that you can't do it because those attacks are resolved and you're whatever? But generally speaking, attacks are resolved after you've made all your saves. So if you've got any attacks still to be allocated to your characters after the bodyguard unit's destroyed, they are not separate units yet, meaning that the War Shaper is able to use its ability on its attached unit because all of the attacks haven't been resolved and so on and so forth and whatever. So I'm going to dig into that a little bit further and have a look at it, but in my mind, that sets a precedent which supports what we were saying before, that there is a step in between just destroyed and removed from play, which this supports. Command reroll. What changes here? Any phase just after you make an advanced charge, desperate escape, or hazardous test for a unit from your army, or a hit roll, wound roll, damage roll, saving throw, or a roll to determine the number of attacks made by a weapon. If you're using fast dice rolling, this stratagem can still be used after rolling multiple rolls or saving throws at once. This is getting rid of the, roll one at a time to see if you want to command reroll. I don't know that I like this. Yes, it saves some time, but you're giving people the option to roll with more information than they should have. But I guess if that's the standard that GW wants to set, then we're able to do that. That just removes an extra step that high-level players had to go through. So if you're using fast dice rolling, select one of those rolls or saving throws to re-roll. So they have made a very big statement that they do not want you to have to roll one at a time if a roll is important enough to use a command re-roll. Interesting. So before you take a battle shock test, that unit from your army automatically passes, cannot use more than once per battle. I feel like we already had that change. Grenade, excluding units that advance, fell back, or have shot this turn. So that is a big distinction. You can't fall back with fall back and shoot and grenade somebody. You must not have advanced, fallen back, or shot. It doesn't care whether you're eligible to shoot anymore. So that is not within engagement range of one or more enemy units. You cannot be eligible to shoot, but have an advanced fallen back and shot, and you can still do it. You just need to have the grenades keyword. One enemy unit not within engagement range are visible to your grenades model. So if you've got multiple different models within a unit, some of them have grenades and some of them don't. You have to make sure that you do the grenades model. Tank shock, just after a vehicle unit from your army ends a charge move. That vehicle unit, select one enemy unit in range of your unit. Select one vehicle model from a unit that's in engagement range of that enemy unit. Roll a number of d6 equal to the toughness characteristic of the selected vehicle. This makes so much more sense. Now, yes, Farsight, rip. You can't roll 12 dice anymore. But have a Riptide go in and keep an eye out for the video I'm going to be making on Retaliation, Carter, and some of the shit that I'm thinking about for those boys. Yeah, tank shocking with a Ghost Kill or a Riptide, or shit driving into somebody with a Skyray or a Devilfish. Oh, meat is back on the menu. Equal to the toughness characteristic for the selected enemy vehicle model. Notice it doesn't say +2 dice if your strength is greater than their toughness. This is just toughness to the vehicle. That absolutely makes sense. This is a net win for your Stormlords and your Bane Blades and your Lehman Russes and your, all Tau vehicles and, even certain like Eldari hulls will benefit a lot from this. So, yeah. My 20 tank shock roll. Oh, boo-hoo! Mister, I can't roll 20 friggin' dice to do mortal wounds to you. Now, it still has the cap of 6 mortal wounds. That's very important. All right, so rapid ingress, and if every model in the unit has a deep strike ability, you can set it up using deep strike. This was to stop shitheads from saying, oh, no, you can't do it. Because obviously you should have always been able to. Fire Overwatch. If that enemy unit is visible to your unit, you can't do it using indirect weapons now. Cannot target a Titanic unit with that stratagem. Yeah, fine. Heroic Intervention. CP cost changed to 1. You can now heroically intervene for 1 CP. You can only select a vehicle unit from your army that is a walker, which means that our crisis suits can still do it. You do not receive a charge bonus, but this is massive for a lot of armies in the game. Be very, very careful of this. Do not end within 6 inches of a unit that would be eligible to charge you, because they will very likely do this over and over again. Also, I skipped over it in the AdMech stuff. Belisarius Call is battle line now. But anyway, Ruins movement section. So, Infantry, Imperium Primarch, Belisarius Call, and Beast models can move through this terrain feature as if it were not there. A model cannot end a move within a wall. And Infantry, Imperium Primarch, Belisarius Call, Beast and Fly models can be set up or end a move on any floor of this terrain, but if that level is not on the ground floor, their base cannot overhang the floor at that level. Does not have a base, and no part of the model that would be in contact with the battlefield at ground level can overhang that floor. All other models can be set up or end a move on the ground floor of this terrain feature. Ruins visibility. Aircraft models are exceptions. Models that are within this terrain feature can be seen normally in towering. Models that are within this terrain feature can also see out of it normally. That is the towering change from ages ago. That's nothing. Your army models warlord. Some rules grant the battle line keyword to additional units from your army. Typically, if you select a particular detachment, if your warlord is a specific model, when mustering your army, treat such units as battle line for the purposes of this step, even though the select warlord step comes after. So no cheesing there. FAQs. Excuse me, I'm going to take care of my throat. Got to keep the thing that got Chelsea interested, in good health, Oh, that's so good. Black Sword, I did see your message before it popped off. How you doing? Hello to everybody that's joining us. This is, and I said at the start of the stream, this is not hyperbole. The thumbnail and my title, I knew before this was coming out, because I had a little bit of advanced knowledge, that this is our meta has absolutely changed. Absolutely changed. And I think it's going to be pretty good. I'll give full opinions at the end of doing all of this, but yeah. If model has a rule that allows it to shoot or fight after a certain condition is met, such as being targeted by an attack. How many times can it shoot or fight as a result of that rule within a phase? As many times as the relevant condition is met unless otherwise stated. Interesting. You can shoot or fight more than once. Does it move from play? Does that models count as having been selected to shoot or fight? No, as such, any rules with that trigger do not apply. So that is... that's fight on death or shoot on death, but before being removed from play, you don't count as having been selected to shoot or fight. So for whatever rules that would apply to. When an attack targets a leader unit that contains one or more models that have the character keyword and one or more models that do not have the character keyword, if that leader unit is not an attached unit, can that attack be allocated to a character model in that unit? Yes. Okay, cool. Where on a model do I measure from if determining something is within range of an aura? You measure from the base or the closest point of any part of that model if it does not have a base, as described in measuring distances. After all modifiers, can a save characteristic ever be 1+ or better? No. Timing and sequencing. I'm just going to skim this, see if there's anything that actually applies to us. Same time from secondary before all rules take effect before any primary or secondary missions are checked for scoring VP. Okay. Some rules start. Later rules taking effect. No, all rules that take effect at the start of a phase, turn, or battle round must be fully resolved before any rules that do not specify they take effect at the start of the phase, turn, or battle round. Each time a unit becomes battle shocked, do the effects of any previously used stratagems that are still affecting that unit stop applying? No. Okay, so it means that if you spent a CP on somebody, you do not lose the benefit of that CP that you've spent. Because you're not trying to target them with a CP. They've already been targeted and they have an active aura. Well, not active aura, but I'm using that from like a gaming perspective. Like, you know, in WoW, if you have an aura attached to you, you have already cast it. You're not trying to recast it. It's an active effect, which is on you. So each time a unit becomes battle shocked, do the effects of any previously used stratagems that are still affecting that unit stop applying? No. Contested say, is it ever possible to player control that objective marker before the end of the first player's command phase? No, it's not. We already knew this. That's fine. They're just stating it outright. Let's be targeted strategy already used. What happens if you have not used a stratagem in that phase? Can you use that stratagem again later in the phase as a result? No, unless that later stratagem. Yeah, so you have to use the strat first without the ability, and then you can replicate it. You don't put the cart before the horse. Rule to play a model is destroyed, but another rule is preventing that model unit from being destroyed. Does the former rule take effect? No, unless that model is only temporarily prevented. Yeah, okay. It's two rules set a characteristic to a certain particular value. Which rule is resolved? The order is determined by the active player. If it's a start or battle round, players roll off to determine who chooses. Yeah, okay, cool. Optionally decide to activate or not. Or calling the one, and the decision is made at the same time. In what order? If it is during a player's turn, that player decides first. Then their opponent does. If it is not during a player's turn, the players roll off. Yep, that's cool. That's normal sequencing stuff. Each time they shoot a fight, remaining attacks need to be resolved. No. Although if any of those attacks are made with weapons with the one-shot ability, those weapons still have been shot. Interesting. You don't get to keep your one-shots if you kill them first. Similarly, hazardous tests will still need to be taken for any weapons that have the hazardous ability, making those unresolved attacks. Interesting. Rule adds damage characteristic of an attack melter, or another rule changes the damage characteristic to 0, Thousand Suns Death by Fate. Will it be 0? No, we already knew this is the melter ability applying after all other modifiers. Out of phase, engagement range, Overwatch. No, Big Guns Never Tire is only within the shooting phase. Take effect, fire, Overwatch. No, as per out of phase rules, you can't use firing deck. That makes sense. Models can overhang the edge of the battlefield so long as the model's base or hull is wholly on the battlefield. So you can actually have little, like, you know, weapons or wings or fucking whatever. When a model overhangs, how does that affect its visibility? That model's player can draw a line of sight from any part of that model that is not overhanging the edge of the battlefield. When you're over the edge, you functionally don't exist. Play armies, yeah. Range of multiple objective markers, yeah. Determining partially within a terrain feature is true line of sight use normal, yes. Model, I really want to see if they've done anything with join the hunt. Minimum move character, yeah, no. Instructs player that must set up a unit on the battlefield. Not enough space. They can still be set up on models that cannot be destroyed. Yep. Unit falls back. No, it falls back. Can model be returned? Can a unit embark within a transport? Use any rules? No. Unit arriving from reserves cannot having made a normal move. Can it embark within a transport as a result? No, because you have moved, but you haven't made a normal move. Movement phase. Yes, so this one is very, very important for any like fire and fade sort of stuff. If a rule allows a unit to make a normal move, advance, or fall back move outside of the controlling player's movement phase, this is our Pathfinder's note. Just after making that move, can that unit embark within a friendly transport model? Yes, unless explicitly stated otherwise. This is what allows the Grundy maneuver to work. I don't know. Model that advances turn doesn't have the assault ability. Yes, in both cases. So this one is you can advance units without assault or fall back units, get into a transport, and then the transport is able to select them for firing deck. Reserves set up on the battlefield, unable to move. Yeah, okay, we don't care about that. Deep strike, no. First battle round. Tire unit have to be set up. Models too large. Aircraft. Stun. What battle rounds can set back up? Yeah, don't care, don't care. Command phase. And taking battle shock test. I don't know if they've got something in here for it. I don't think they do. Okay, primary second award VP for destroying characters. Yep, don't care, don't care. Okay, win red. After, see just after. Is there anything important here? Base-to-base contact as close as possible. So this one applies to the wolves. And then blood surges, that sort of stuff. The exception to this is that a model with a pivot value of 0 and a round base that is as close as possible to an enemy model or objective marker can pivot when its unit piles in or consolidates. Okay, so that's fine. When moving a model from your army into base-to-base contact with an enemy model during a pile-in or consolidate move, if that enemy model overhangs its base such that it is not possible to move your model into base-to-base contact with that model, until the end of the turn, those models are considered to be in base-to-base contact with each other and within engagement range of each other. While all the following are true, the distance your model can move was sufficient to move it into base-to-base with the enemy model if there was no overhang. If you have moved your model as close as possible to the enemy model, any part of the model is within 1 inch of any other part of the model. It means that things like the Necron's boats, you can't actually go, oh no, my base is inside here. My boat extends like all the way out here, so you actually can't get to my base. That's getting rid of that shit. Big guns never tie out of phase. As effective as this rule, locked in combat, they cannot make use of any rules. Yep, that's fine. Charging with a unit. That's the same thing. Fast dice rolling and rules that allow one reroll. When a rule allows you to reroll one roll or saving throw out of multiple rolls or saving throws for a unit, if you're using fast dice rolling, you can roll multiple rolls or saving throws at once and then decide which of those to reroll. Fight on death. When doing so, those models may pile in, following all the restrictions of unit coherency, and then make melee attacks, selecting which weapon they will make attacks with, and the targets for those attacks before resolving. So you can't cuck somebody out of fight on death. Gaining CP from mission cards. When playing a mission that gives a player 1 or more CP for discarding secondary mission cards, that CP counts towards the limit. Hull, when measuring to or from vehicles, excluding walker models that have a base. Measure to and from the hull, any part of the model. Yep. Immediately after, see immediately after. Measuring to a destroyed model, measuring to destroyed hull. It's basically just saying you measure any point occupied by that model's base. Throws of any kind cannot be made, although rules that allow models to ignore wounds, feel no pains can be used. If an attacking unit inflicts a mixture of mortal wounds and normal damage, resolve normal stuff first. Yep, we knew that. One-shot weapons. Each time a destroyed model is returned to a unit, any one-shot weapons equipped by that model that was shot before they were destroyed have still been shot. Each time a new unit is added to your army, any one-shot weapons that those models are equipped with have not been shot. So returning models, yes. Returning a full unit, no. Reposition units. Units that use such rules are known as repositioned. This is when you reposition from removing them and setting them back up. And the points below apply to them in addition to any other rules that can affect such a unit, such as where they can or cannot be set up. Note that units that are using rules to embark within or disembark from transports are not repositioned units. Repositioned unit that advanced or fell back in the phase in which it was set up has still advanced or fallen back in that phase. You don't clear it by taking them off the battlefield. Otherwise, a repositioned unit counts as having made a normal move in the phase in which it's set up. When a repositioned unit is being set up on the battlefield, if there are areas of the battlefield that cannot be set up within, when it plays reserves, blah, 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 or rules of you cannot be set up within 12 of this unit. The models in that reposition unit cannot be set up within those areas. Okay, that won't come up a ton, but it might. Rerolls, you can trigger rules that allow things like rerolls and can be triggered by a dice roll, can also be triggered by a reroll. There's a net buff for Sisters and for Eldari. You have things where you can make a roll, re-roll it, and then go, cool, I'm going to substitute a dice. That's what I'm taking from this. Any rules that can be triggered by a dice roll can also be triggered by a reroll. Round bases, yep, circular. I think we're looking at a lot of the same stuff. We're almost at the bottom of the thing. Okay. Modifying characteristics after all modifiers are applied. Yep, we saw a little bit of that before. And that is our core rules. Holy shit, that was a lot of stuff. That was a lot of stuff. Now, I'm going to actually, Feud, if you said there was a change in the codex, send it to me on Discord. Because I actually, where is... Feud put in a bunch of things. So that's just everybody throwing in the MFM stuff. If you go first, you can officially rapid ingress in your opponent's first turn. Nice. So... that is everything. Now, like, when I look at all of this, and let's go in the context of the armies that I play. Big winners, big losers. Big losers from this one. Obviously, Adeptus Sororitas. Yes, they have great rules. They are still going to be fine. They are just not going to be oppressively broken like we've seen from a lot of different things. This, so far as I've seen from the Codex, was wholly necessary. Custodes, big winner. Big winner, making their Forge World options better, buffing their shield host, giving them some rules changes. Custodes are a big winner from this. Admech, I have no fucking idea. I have no idea. Eldari, meh. Astra Militarum, I'm going to say that they are actually a loser of indirect, but got a massive increase to just lethal hits all the time. I think we're going to see a lot better list health from Astra Militarum rather than just a bunch of indirect batteries that are just bombing the fuck out of you. So you either have them do nothing or just wipe your army completely. I don't think you'll have that anymore. You will actually have things that are killing you in line of sight, which is, it's fine. It's fine. Demons, sure. I guess you guys are better. Nurglings went down in the bigger unit sets. That's, yeah, good for them. Chaos Knights, I feel like Imperial Knights and Chaos Knights are pretty big winners from this. Even just from the fact that their big units can walk through terrain and just roll to take a battle shock test. Or it's not even a battle shock test. It's like roll a friggin' dice, and then if you roll a 1, roll a d6 on a 1, you're battle shocked. I mean, you would take that every single time. That is such a big win. Chaos Knights, Imperial Knights, big winners. Really, really big winners. CSM, go fuck yourself, big losers. Love it. Dark Angels, I don't know who you are. Death Guard, I'm so glad Indirect is gone. Go fuck yourselves. Sorry, Feud. Death Watch, you were already going and fucking yourselves. Dracaria, fine. GSC, no idea, and I'm not going to comment on this. I don't know enough about this army. But there is enough buff and nerf here that I think this probably will be overall healthy, but I'll get an opinion from someone better. Grey Knights got hard fucked by all of this, especially the stuff that nerfed there cannot be shot outside of 12 to cannot be shot outside of 18, as well as some other changes. This is an overall nerf from Grey Knights, and I don't think we're going to see them at the top of any meta charts or tournaments. Like, good Grey Knights players will still do well with them. Don't get me wrong. It's not, I see Grey Knights, it's an auto win. But it just won't be as good as they were, where they were picking up a lot of tournament wins. Necrons, go fuck yourself. You should have had everything on this sheet be red. In fact, this sheet shouldn't have any text on it whatsoever, except for the one line, Necrons have been deleted because they suck. Orcs, want to see how this plays out. The Mega Knobs change, the invulnerable save change, all that sort of stuff, I think will make Green Tide significantly worse. Significantly worse. But we'll see how that shapes out for them. Space Marines, I don't think this is really a net change. It just mean Iron Storm isn't as ridiculous as it was. Space Wolves, obviously this is a loss, but they deserved it, and this isn't as hard as they could have got hit. And now with the Champions of Rust detachment getting a much, much needed adjustment of their rules, I'm keen to actually play with these guys and see how they go. But nothing else being changed means that it might open up a little bit of list diversity. Having said that, though, 18 Thunderwolf Cav are still goddamn ridiculous. So take that for what it is. Tau. We are the biggest winners of this data slate, in my opinion. This is just all good for us. The change to replicating stratagems makes Farsight actually make sense and makes me want to include him in a list. Now, do I think that Farsight staying at 105 is good? Probably not, but at least he is now much more usable. Much, much more usable. Like, you look at the stratagems that he would want to use, and now with every single one of them opened up, with more CP, you're relying, like him trading off for an Ethereal actually makes sense, because the Ethereal's on a 4-up, which, by the way, GW, fuck you. Farsight now is actually something that I would be like, you know what? Fuck yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. His unit being able to pick from any of the best stratagems in any of the detachments, hell yeah. Hell yeah, brother. Now, obviously, Kroot, he's not going to replicate any of those because they're Kroot specific, but, you know, nobody's surprised by that. Thousand Suns, I think they're probably at a loser of this one with the changes to their rituals and everything else. It is healthy for the game. I think that they'll be less oppressive for certain armies. But I think overall, like, these buffs are not enough to compensate for the changes that I saw. Unless there's something I'm just massively missing. Tyranids, I think, are big winners from this one with the changes to their Hive Tyrant and some of that sort of stuff. Again, not hyper knowledgeable about Tyranids, so I won't offer, a solid opinion. But from what I'm looking at, I think Tyranids players should be happy. World Eaters, I think, are losers from some of the changes that I saw from the enhancements that were really kind of propping up this army for their blessings of Khorne. But obviously, 8-bound and Exalted 8-bound going down is just nice to be able to fit more shit in your list. But yeah, this like looking at, where was it? Looking at the changes that they have made, even just on this first page, the indirect change, the 1 CP, heroic intervention, all that sort of stuff, like this is maybe the biggest shakeup that we have seen to our meta since Eldari got properly gutted, GSC got properly gutted, and we came out of the dark age of Eldari. Like, this is AdMech with a full rework, move to 8, battle line on Belisarius call, changes to all of their stuff. Like, you know, I don't know if this is good or bad, but it is change. And I've said multiple times, the change that keeps everything fresh, gives people new options, gives whatever, in my opinion, is just more healthy for the game than keeping it how it is. Astra Militarum is going to be happier, moving away from indirect that either did nothing or did everything to having a solid, reliable rule. Regiment, lethal hits against non-monsters vehicles. Squadron, monsters and vehicles, which is exactly what you want it for. You're not going to have like guardsman units getting through a shitload of lethal hits against a vehicle or a monster that they shouldn't be able to do that on, but they're going to be very good anti-infantry. And then same for the tanks, getting their lethal hits and not having to stand still, being able to play the game, move, do everything they want to do. Chaos Knights and Imperial Knights, being able to just bust through a wall like the fucking Kool-Aid Man. Like that is legitimately such a cool update. Such a cool update. Yeah, I'm really happy with all of this. I am actually very, very happy that we have gotten so many changes in such a relatively short period of time, and GW is actively looking at the codexes they're releasing and making changes where they need to for the health of the game. Green Tide already getting adjusted with actual rules adjustments. GW is showing that if something is just ridiculous, broken, busted, we will put work in to change it. Now, it's not perfect, and they're not doing everything that everybody would want. But you know what? In terms of like stories that I've heard from some of the Warhammer old boys and girls and how it used to be to how we've got it now, we are in the fucking golden age of 40k. And seriously, GW. Seriously, you guys are fucking killing it. For any other things that people might criticize you for, you are putting in work to your game, and I think this is really fantastic. I think this is something that you need to keep up, and you need to keep showing your community that, you know, your plastic crack is worth our money. And it's really exciting for me as a tournament organizer. Like, having this sort of stuff keeps people interested, keeps people engaged, and lets them know that there is a future with this game, meaning that the tournament scene will become more and more healthy. So, yeah. Guys, what do you think? Let me start going back through some of the chat. I don't know if it will save everything. No, it definitely won't. It definitely won't. All right, actually, I think I've got my Twitch chat and my YouTube open in different things. That should save everything. Yeah, introducing stream together. Yeah, fuck you. Black Sword, doing good, mate. Just super curious with all the new points and rules changes. Yay, Land Raider Crusader costs less now. We got a Marines player. Or maybe a Grey Knights player? Whichever one it is. Nope, not that one. Not that one. Let's go that. Let's go back through some of the chat, give people a chance to throw some stuff in, but I'm really, really excited. Can the town pivot with no movement cost? No. So it will spend 2 inches to pivot because it doesn't have a circular base. So any vehicles, monsters that are not on a circular base or a flying stem, I think it is, have to spend 2 inches to go. Actually, let's go back to that because that would affect devilfish and piranhas and stuff because they are supposed to be on flying stems. Let's go back to that and let's go to our movement. I don't need that. Overhanging, moving. So pivots. Oh no, sorry. It's not flying stems. It's just models on round bases and aircraft models, which technically, that's a round base. That is its legal base. Piranhas can pivot for free. Devilfish can pivot for free because you are supposed to, by GW rules, have them on a 60 mil flying base, which is circular. It's just Land Raiders and Rhinos and shit that can't do it. Hell yeah, brother. Oh, that is so good. That is so friggin' good. All right, well, I know that I'm going to be properly rebasing all of my shit now. Cool. Or at least getting my my devilfish and stuff onto the bases they're supposed to be on. I've been using the landing skids, but I'm sure there'll be somebody that's like, no, you can't do that. So what do we got? Cool. Mana, indirect change shows a lot. I've just seen Mike's comment. J-Man, always right, rolls like shit. Oh, I guess he wanted the rhyme. Always right, rolls like shite. I need to get that on a shirt or something. That'd be fucking awesome. Aberrant staying the same feels weird. Bill didn't get touched for Grey Knights. That's funny. Yeah, I mean, if you weren't going into the Dread Knight spam, Grey Knights are almost exactly the same, just with the 18-inch sort of thing. But, yeah. Still around the same list then, Jay. So for my Tau, Crisis Suits will be coming back in. I don't know what I'm going to move around, but I'm going to be playing with a lot of list stuff. And shameless plug and a little bit of shilling, if you would like to see the list that I'm cooking, you need to look at the Shasso tier or the Join the Patreon tier, which get a bunch of dedicated coaching, live events in the Discord, and Shasso and up get to see every list I write, including what my current GT list is. So if you would like to get access to that, get access to the Discord and the wonderful community we got going in there, which now includes tournament players from Australia in a new Patreon tier that I released to give them a bunch of benefits for live events that I'm running around Sydney. Head to the Patreon and check that out. Chaos Knights confirmed don't double shock anymore. Yes, they absolutely don't. That's, yeah, it specifically states, fuck your shenanigans. Oh, okay. That's up from Pivot Rule. The Bogan saw it early. The Bogan saw it early. All right, so yeah, I am interested in doing some like broadsides, that sort of shit. I'm also looking at cooking a retaliation card list, which is maybe one of the most spicy things I've ever come up with in my life. And really, really, really keen to get that going. But I'd 100% call you on a job. Oh, fucking of course you would, Feud. Of course you would. They can't seem to get Knights right, to be honest. I mean, after those changes, that feels pretty good. Jono, Tao is eating good. Yes, it is. Bill is correct. Tao is fucking cooking. We have got a lot of options. To buy a Towner or not buy, that is the question. Well, look, a Towner, if you love the model, then don't let anybody tell you how to spend your money. If you're like, I really want to win events and tournaments, a Towner is not the way to go. It is what you take to a tournament when you want to flex on everybody because you're so much better than them. That is the only reason you take a Towner outside of I fucking love it and I don't care what you think about me. Oh, thank you, Sarah. Really appreciate that. Become a patron. It is worth it. Discord's great, kind people, and learn a lot. That is really wonderful to hear. Thank you. You can get a pun-filled coaching session as well. Oh, my God. Yeah, do you know, I am decidedly more serious during coaching, but I guess I need to put up, like, a package on the website with shoutoutpandinstudios.com.au. Get yourself some fucking merch or coaching. I need to have a package which is just, like, Jay is nothing but sarcastic for 2 hours straight, and I don't care if you learn anything. Oh my God. A bit sad that Hammerheads went up in points. Yeah, I'm confused by that. This is literally just, oh, we saw Kyle Grundy and Hayden Walduck and like a few other good players take Hammerheads with Ions. Better fucking shut that down. 5 points more. You take a Sunforge unit that you can put a Cold Star with, and you have, what is it? 10 fusion shots hitting on 2s and 3s, potentially with reroll 1s if you use stealth suits, and then full rerolls to wound and full rerolls to damage, which in retaliation card can deep strike within 3. And if you put them with Farsight, it's +1 to wound, and they can do the deep strike for 1 CP. I'm just saying. Sasso tier, all sarcasm. Oh my God, I want to do that as like an April Fool's Patreon tier that just comes up once and then it goes away at the end of that and you get transitioned into like something else, or it just ejects people from the Discord. And it's just me for all of like April just randomly jumping into voice in Discord, just being like, go fuck yourself. Moody, how you doing, buddy? Okay, so post changes, what wins in a fight? 45 Nurgling size Reaver Titans or a Reaver Titan size Nurgling. 45 Nurgling size Reaver Titans because they still have guns, and if the laws of physics apply, they will be infinitely stronger than a Nurgling that becomes that big. But anyway, that's just my little Ant-Man brain taking over. I didn't see that. Masu, gigantified an emote on Twitch. I actually kind of love that. Thank you for the 30 bits, dude. Appreciate it. So, yeah, we are just looking so good. And there's a lot that I want to play around with. And, you know, honestly, this red here doesn't stop me wanting to... Oh, wait, no, that's Admech. This red doesn't stop me wanting to play in Lone Sisters. Not at all. Not at all. I am still really, really keen to play them. I think they've got a lot of play. I think they're just not busted. So now I've got Tau that I'm going to be like just shitting out lists on. Like there are so many ideas that I have for different lists and variants. And then I've also got Wolves. I've got Sisters. I probably won't jump back on the Grey Knights for a little bit. Yeah. And then just this. Fire Knives 130. Starsides 110. Sunforges 150. Oh, it is a good time to be a Tau player. Oh, the AdMac doesn't stop me. It's not that much of a hike. Well, that's good to hear. That's good to hear. Sarah, good night. Have a great one. With all those point hikes, the 2K AdMac list might have finally gotten below that $5,000 mark. Core rules make me happy for my Votan. Tau, oh my god, let's go. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Skitari was so overcosted back in the day. I think they still are. I think AdMech are one of the most expensive point per dollar models in the game, almost without any contestation. I've been standing this whole time because I was hyped as fuck. That was from back at Trail Shaper Bad, by the way. All right. Ugh. Let's get off these old man knees and legs, and like it was definitely, I forgot how hot it gets under like the lights and shit. Yeah, I'm actually going to transition us over to our big old like face to face. How we doing? Hello everybody. My wallet agrees with AdMech expensive. Yeah, fucking 100%. Let me move this over onto the main screen. Let me move this over here so I'm actually looking forward. This is just like, this shake up to the game is going to be so good. It is going to be so good. And like Tau, I said it before, Tau were fine. We were actually fine. What this will do is just make it so that like worse players or mid players are not just getting bodied every game because they will actually have a bit more on the table. They will actually want to take Crisis Suits. Like, Breaches didn't need to get touched. Devilfish didn't need to get touched. Shadow Sun was fine. Skyrays probably needed to be the one going down and not Hammerheads, but whoopsie. But yeah. Strike Team worth it now. 75 points isn't that bad. Oh, Baron. You weren't here for my very, very hearty laugh, were you? Strikes at 75 points, I still won't take. I won't take. You can use them, sure. Will I be expecting to beat some of the best players in Australia using strikes in a list? No. No. Strikes just do what breaches do worse. And yes, there will be a heavy melee meta now. I really do believe that. You look like you need a cigar and a shot of whiskey. Yeah, I used to actually have a cigar every Anzac Day, which is our Remembrance Day, basically. And it was basically like and I would have a glass of scotch with it as well. Basically doing the things that some of the friends that were killed while I was over in Afghan won't ever be able to do anymore. And that ritual kind of fell off a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I could see myself doing like a review sitting in one of those big ass armchairs with a fire roaring next to me, glass of brandy swirling it about. I actually have these brandy glasses you can hold from underneath. Which, by the way, for anybody who's been interested in it, this weird segue, but this is where my brain went. I'm going to be restarting running D&D. I'm going to be merging the two groups that I was running before on the characters that they're on. And we are going to be streaming that with every second week. It will be an in-person game, so they'll all be here in the studio with me. And the off weeks will just be on Discord and using Foundry and that sort of stuff. But for anybody who's interested in seeing me run D&D, we will be doing that very, very soon. It'll probably take us maybe a couple of weeks to get everything together and be good to go. But we'll be doing some streams with each of the groups separate to finish off the storylines they're in, to transition them properly into meeting each other and having a good narrative reason why they're kind of joining each other and going from there. But yeah, so no, cigar and scotch is not off the table. I'll say that. Scutari even worse than crude hounds, which cost more than raw silver. Cogless hasn't changed. Then again, after the tower update, I think a smoke after sex seems right. Oh yeah. There was a weird nerf to points from after the dex drop. That weird Psalm list I wrote just before it gets all the buffs. Yeah. Keen to see where AdMech goes. I can't say that it's something that I'm like, oh my god, I have to watch this. But I play Marines with my custom chapter, trying to build a list with Anvil Siege detachment. Go on that route. Yeah, nice. Well, best of luck with it, dude. Hopefully it works out. Obviously the land raid has got a little bit of love, but yeah, really going to be looking closely at the meta and how it shakes out. But Aegis, thank you for the follow. I think that I'm not signed up to enough events. That's first and foremost, which I'm going to be correcting. But actually, has the app updated? Because I think we could even look at doing some... actually, Battlescribe, have you updated? Let's... Get out my face, you. Why did it just close my YouTube? What? Huh? Sorry, buddy, I just got to go back into my stream manager. Go live, click on my stream. There we go. I have Twitch up on that one. There we go. Local GG has an event this weekend. Are they using this thing? Because this would be way too late for the new points and everything. Okay, let's get rid of this one. You were the one who was supposed to get Alt F forward. Let's see if Battlescribe has been updated. And let's see if the app has been updated. I checked for updates earlier, but obviously that was pre-9:30. The app can very often update first, but let's see. Updates, checking for... well, I don't really care about Warpforge, but sure. Let's go update all on that. I don't know if the app is updated. Battlescribe, I'd be surprised because this only just came out. I don't think they would work that quickly on doing all this stuff. Yes and no, we didn't get numbers to run a proper tournament, so it's just a games day. Ton of us are going to be testing new rules with Pariah release. Stores also confirmed got cards in stock. Yeah, I'm chasing John to try and get mine, but yeah. Aegis, first time chatter. How you doing, bud? Beal hitting you with the rail guns. All is updated. Okay. Let's check the app. Not seeing my app updated, and the Google Play Store is not showing it as... There it is. Go in and look for update. Even if it says it's looking for update, don't believe it. Do not believe it. All right, let's open it up and let's see how some of my lists have changed. Battlescribe, and actually I'll give you guys a view of my setup. I've seen. There we go. All right, I think it's this. Update data. So we're on 10.2.9 when I open this. That is Crudy Accrute for all your Crudy needs, which was the old one, I believe. Okay, so let's have a look at my retaliation card list. Red on his... It went down by 165 points. Oh my God. I think the Trail Shaper is probably going to get... actually, no, I won't throw him out just yet. And that was with double Fire Knife, double Star Scythe, double Sun Forge. Single Ghost Keel, which I can replicate now. I just put in a Ghost Keel for free. Holy. Okay. Okay. I will have to revisit this, but my base list, I just got to put in a fucking ghost kill for free. My Montcar list didn't change because I wasn't using anything that got adjusted, so I can still run that. But if I were to rip out the Riptides, Teehee, I can put in 2 Sunforge units and basically Farsight for free. New improved Galaxy Burning now available. Let's just see. Okay, so if I go add in Tau Empire, Strike Force, let's go Rhett Carter. Because I still maintain this is the most fun one. Cold Star is still 110, Enforcer is still 90. This is before the update. Broadside's 110, yeah. I think I'm going to have to make a Retaliation Carter list, or maybe even a Mont Car list, which has got Broadsides and Sun Forges and Fire Knives. Because Fire Knives with lethal hits are actually really, really good. Really good. Solid friends and I are struggling in Discord to keep up with all the changes. Hope some of your lists came out on top today. My Mont Car list didn't change, but I believe my Cao Yon list, my Rhett Carter list, and even, let's have a look at some of my more obscure lists, like my fucking Double Tiger Shark lists and shit. Double Tiger Shark didn't change. Reptar, holy shit, he went down like shitloads of points. Not because the Storm Surge changed, but just some of the stuff that I was building around him. What about Mr. and Mrs. Reptar for the Double Surge? Where are you? Mr. and Mrs. Reptar. Okay, that iteration of the list didn't go down at all. Fuck, that'd actually be super strong. Crude list didn't change. Blood in the Water actually went up in points? Question mark? Oh, no, I added in a unit I didn't want. That didn't change at all. And that's using a bunch of, like, the flies, like Razor Sharks and shit. My Montcar Crisis Suit list actually went down by 125 points. That's pretty nutty, because that already has a shitload of bodies. I'm going to have to play around that a lot. I'm going to have to play around with that a fucking ton. My sister's list went up 255 points. Yep. Yeah, that seems about right. I have 1 Riptide in my Montcar list. Should I remove it and just shuffle other units for 300 points of missile sides? I'm actually probably going to be more closely looking at the 2-man broadside squads, because I don't want to pay an extra 10 points per broadside. Like, 300 for a 3-man isn't actually bad. Like, if they just changed it so that every single one of them, 1, 2, and 3 was 100 points a model, I don't hate that. But if I can save 20 points, then sure. The only way that I would go the 3 is if I am going for the missile side route and I'm not just going the 2 rails. Though I do wonder, with the changes that we've seen, like the update to not being able to use like Join the Hunt or the other replace a unit like Reinforcement for Astra Militarum, not being able to do that more than once per battle, I don't know if we're going to keep barreling towards this Horde meta that we were looking at before. I actually think that, like, having good anti-tank is going to be important, especially because, like, you look at, if Sisters is still doing quite well, they will probably do quite well because they've got, like, Penitent Engines, Mortifiers, and Transports for a lot of their things. They don't really want to be running Sisters up the board. 2 rails or 2 missiles in a Montcar list, way more context needed. I could say one or the other, but I might be steering you astray if I don't actually know stuff. Best thing to do, and, like, it's not me trying to shill, but literally just, like, patrons get access to the Discord where we've got list help things, or get a coaching session with me where we can literally just go through, like, everything that you need and, like, go point for point based on what you own. If I were with a Montcar list, I am leaning more towards missile sides because volume with lethal hits is obviously great, but a 2-man rail side unit with like Seeker missiles on their back and plasma rifles or ignore all modifiers or whatever is still good to walk on and just punch the shit out of something. So I think that no matter which way you go, you just have to be aware of the choice you've made and then playing around that unit and then, guiding appropriately or sending it into the right targets. Your missile sides you might consider having in strat reserve, but it's not always going to be the case, whereas rail sides, you may want to start in strat reserve, but they've got a better way of getting down certain firing angles because of their range. But yeah. Chad, is Montcar still the take, or is there now play with Carter if you take the changes into account? I think Carter has a bit more play. It is still going to suffer from the lack of battle line units wanting to be in that detachment, because we look at it, battle line is literally still only breaches and strikes. Strikes at 75 points gain no benefit from the detachment rule, are slow, and really don't hit that hard and don't offer enough. I think that Retaliation Carter would be a lot better if Crook Carnivores had battle line all the time. Or stealth suits got the battle line keyword, which also, GW, what the fuck? Why don't stealth suits get battle line in Retaliation Carter? It is such an easy fix. Such an easy fix. Ugh. Prior Nexus scoring made Carter more viable. It favors tanky units and bringing down doesn't hurt as much. That is true, but you just need to make sure... You need to make sure that you have your scoring plan down. And this is something that I find, I've said this a bunch of times, go back and watch some of my other streams. There are so many goddamn times that somebody will go over the top in damage and they will have nothing else. And then they'll be like, I keep getting fucking bodied. And then you look at their list and you're like, well, dude, you're able to kill stuff, sure, but if you lose any of these big value units or you have nothing to trade with, good opponents are going to be able to bait that shit out. They're going to kill it off, and then they're going to walk out and take over the board because you literally can't deal with them. But, yeah. Aura of Terror is worded in a way that if I fail my Kool-Aid Man check and still stick in objective, that's cool. That's cool. That's got a lot of play. Oh, Battlescribe, I wish you were updated, but at least the app is. I don't really have anything that can sort of show you guys what I'm doing on my phone, and I guess maybe that's something I could look at, connecting this through Streamlabs or whatever, so you can see what I'm doing. But did my Tidewall Chasseur list change? Yes, it did. Oh, Tidewall drone ports and shield lines. Maybe not a meme. They are. They absolutely are. Don't think that that's any indication that they're actually good. You will only win games if you're a good player. But anyway, what did I do with this? I just did a shitload of breaches. Farsight, Fireblades, yeah. I have to play that on stream. I have to go round 2 of the Tide Walls. That's how I get tabletop battles on my test stream. Yeah, I'm going to have to do that. I know you can connect it up. I'm just going to go down that route of sort of connecting it so people can see what I'm doing. Because I think list building on there becomes a lot better using the app. I don't hate Battlescribe, but there's just a lot more visual clarity with the app. And obviously there's images and that sort of stuff. And yeah, so... But we love memes. Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. BlueStacks is the Android emulator I use. Okay. Yeah, I'll have to look up BlueStacks. Is that on your phone or on your PC that you use it, or both? Yeah, so man, I look at this and I don't think a retaliation card list I'm going to be going, because I have one which is 2, 2, and 2. And I don't think that is actually the way that you want to do this. But, oh my God, does this open up the 18 Crisis Suit Dream? Let me check this. We're going to do this together. You can't replicate lists, can you? So if I get Retaliate on these nuts, you can only edit it. And I don't want to get rid of the base of this list. So let's just start another one. We're going to have to go through, and I'm not going to configure any weapons. Let's go Retaliation Carter. And I'm going to call it yes. Because obviously the question is, how many crisis suits do you have? To which you respond, yes. All right, so let's triplicate the fire knives. triplicate the Star Scythes, triplicate the Sun Forges. Oh my God, and we're only at 1170 points. Can I actually make a functional retaliation card list with a commander in every unit? So I have 9 units. You can have 3 enforcers, you can have 3 cold stars, and you can have farsight. So 2 units run encumbered. That is 1,800 points. Okay. So then you just chuck in what? Stealth suits and you're done? You got 20 points left over. You put Starflare Ignition System. Wait, wasn't internal grenade racks more expensive than 20 points? Or did that get a buff? Huh, maybe it was only 20. I just made a perfect 2,000 point list. And I have Farsight, 3 Cold Stars, 3 Enforcers, 3 Fire Knives, 3 Star Sides, 3 Sun Forges, and 3 Stealth Suits with the Uppy Downy. The dream is real. We fucking did it. No, you have Starside's guide for the other units. You have Fire Knives guide for the other units because they get full rerolls to hit. You know what? I'm saving that. We're going to play that on stream. 100%. We are going to do a retaliation Carter, full Crisis, Cold Star, Farsight stream game. I'm going to set that up. Who from the Pantheon haven't I played a ton? Because actually, Sam, you've been wanting Kroot reps. Do you want to go into me? Now, obviously, all 3 of the Star Sides aren't going to go the Flamers. I am going to have at least 1 unit, which is the Burst Cannons, because you want to have that volume using Arachon Protocol and then being able to, like, Arachon Protocol with Farsight for free. But then there's also a bunch of other stuff. And actually, let's bring that up. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Let's go... Oh, nope, not you. Warhammer 40k. Let's go Tau Empire. And let's look at some of the strats that Farsight now is able to replicate. I'd honestly love to see more Kroot on the table. So it'd be sweet to see how those detachments fare against each other. Yeah, absolutely. I was going to say, Eva plays Nids. Does she want a Monster Mash with the new Crusher Stampede list or anything? I would love to play against Eva. I'll hit her up. So this is old, isn't it? Oh my God, we're on 8th edition. What? What be your 10th edition? Let's try that, shall we? Okay, now let's go Tau. You get an iOS Android simulator on your PC. Does everything a phone would do and can log into the app and make lists on an app on PC sharing screen. Oh, nice. Is this 2018? God, I wish it was. Okay, so let's go Rhett Carter. Let's have a look at our strategisms. We could fail safe him for 1 CP. Cool. Free stim injectors is actually kind of big for keeping his unit alive. Now, a 6-up Feel No Pain, obviously I'm going to fail that, but that's not for you. He can 0 CP Torch Star Gambit now. He can 0 CP roll 6s for mortal wounds. I will never use this stratagem. This is not worth 1 CP or a free ability. So his big ones will be the Shortened Blade for 1 CP, because that on a Sunforge unit is fucking disgusting. That is 1 CP, drop down and delete 1 or 2 vehicles. 0 CP Torch Star, or 1 CP Shortened Blade, 1 CP Torch Star. Because you lower Shortened Blade or do Torch Star for free, whichever. But being able to drop in 3 and then move, a normal move of 10, enormous. So Aracon Protocol, Torch Star, Stim Injectors, Shortened Blade. Those are the big ones for them. Then let's look at Kalyon. What is he likely to replicate there? Tempting Trap. You just select them to shoot, and you can 1 CP set up for the rest of the game. +1 to wound on that trap objective marker. Now, obviously, you can't use it during the first or second battle rounds, which, GW, please, just... What is wrong with you? Anyway. Point Blank Ambush, an additional -1 AP. That on like a burst cannon or flamer or missile pod unit is actually quite juicy. Obviously can't use it for the first and second battle rounds because fuck you. Coordinate to engage for free is actually kind of interesting. You put in with a flamer unit, they guide for somebody else, get the benefit. Oh, actually, no, flamers wouldn't want to do it. You do it with missile sides, for example, or burst cannons, and then get the benefit for themselves because it will also give you, I believe, double explodes because you get that with the change to the Kalyon detachment rule. All ranged weapons equipped by models have sustained hits or sustained 2 while targeting their unit's spotted unit. So doing this, you get ballistic skill 3, ignore cover, and you get double explodes for both of those units. That could be really juicy. Really, really juicy. Combat embarkation, you can't do. Photon grenades, you can't do. Wall of mirrors, you can't do. So you only get tempting, point blank, and coordinate, but that's not terrible, I guess. Can you rapid ingress him for free? Oh, yes, you can. Oh, yes, you can. Then on your turn, use stratagem for free as well, if it's a new battle round. Because don't forget, let's go to Commander Farsight's ability. Here we go. Pure Tide's teachings, once per battle round. You can target this model's unit with the stratagem for 0 CP. So, if you went first... You would be able to, after you've taken your second turn, then in your opponent's second turn, rapid ingress, then in battle round 3, you're good to go. If your opponent goes first and you go second, then you get to do it in their turn 2, and then in your turn 2, you have to wait because you rapid ingress for free and it's still the same battle round. So as long as you fit within those restrictions, you're fine. So then let's go Montcar. What is he able to use? This is actually really good. Pinpoint counteroffensive. That is he reroll hits when he's destroyed. Aggressive mobility, which we were able to do before. Just auto advance 6, which you can't replicate anymore, which does suck. Focused fire. This one I wasn't using a ton, but okay. Pulse Onslaught, 1 Tower Empire infantry unit. Why are you saying he can use it? He absolutely cannot. That is just shot. Subtract 2 from its move, subtract 2 from advance and charge rolls made for it. Now, that one for 2 CP. If that was 1 CP, I would consider taking strikes. Let me cook on this. Because GW, I know you watch me. And I know you take recommendations for how to change Tau from me. And you're welcome, by the way. I'm more than happy to do it. And also, I love you. And it'd be okay for you to say it back sometimes. We've got pulse rifles, 30 inches. And if you're not going to give us AP, which, by the way, that instantly makes strike teams competitive. Give them -1 AP on the pulse rifle. Else there is no reason to take them. But anyway, if we had suppression volley, in your shooting phase, after it's shot, let me cook. Select 1 enemy infantry unit, get rid of that. Get rid of that non-monster and vehicle. I don't need monsters and vehicles suppressed by them because it makes sense that they would be barreling down, not worrying about like little fire from the pulse rifles. Not infantry, just non-monster vehicle. Hit by 1 or more of those attacks until the start of your next turn while this unit's on the battlefield. I don't know why that is important. The unit shoots once and it's not continually shooting, so whatever. But get rid of that. Just until the start of your next turn, that unit is suppressed. -1 to hit. And Pulse Onslaught, 1 CP, -2 to move, -2 to advance, and charge rolls. That makes strikes competitive. Because when we look at, and GW, let me cook! When we look at what they're competing with, you have, we want to spend 1 CP for aggressive mobility for a breacher fish unit to move 18 inches and then get out, blowing up whatever it is that it's looking at. We want that breacher unit to spend 1 CP on combat debarkation if the unit isn't standing on an objective, so we get full rerolls to wound, because otherwise those pulse blasters actually don't get that many wounds through when they're higher toughness than the strength 6 weapons. You're also competing with focus fire, 2 units getting AP1. This is very, very important in the Custodes matchup or any of the Grey Knights where they're all on a 2-up armor save. We don't want them saving on 3s with breaches or any of our AP1 weapons like our missiles. We are going to be spending, let's say you've got missile sides and fire knives all shooting at the same unit. You want to be spending 1 CP onto that. Now, is there a world where I am banking for 2 turns, not doing any of that sort of stuff, to spend 2 CP for -2 to move, advance, and charge on a unit that isn't likely even going to kill a model from the unit it's shooting at, and it's only at infantry units to get the -1 to hit? Loopy, I agree 100%. Make it their fucking datasheet ability. In your shooting phase, after it's shot, select 1 non-monster or vehicle unit hit by 1 or more of those attacks until the start of your next turn. Wipe. That enemy unit is suppressed. While a unit is suppressed, each time they make an attack, subtract a hit roll from 1, and additionally, subtract 2 from its movement characteristic, and let's say not advance rolls, but charge rolls. I think that'd probably be a bit much. But subtract 2 from its movement characteristic and charge rolls. Strikes don't need the AP then. They're competitive. Right? Right? JW would make them good in Kaoyun, literal kiting. Yeah, you use the 30-inch range to play into the game plan of I'm not going to kill you, but I'm going to make it harder for you to get there. What about Pure Tide Engram Neurochip? Does it work? Okay, let's have a look at it. Let's go to, let's just go back to Tau Empire. So, because Pure Engram Neurochip is something that they haven't known what the fuck to do with for so long. Just so long. So, Pure Tide, by the way, with the cheaper commanders, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a freebie. You see this? You see this right here on a solo commander with a cyclic and then 3 other good weapons. Imagine being able to just give them lethal hits or sustained hits on an 80-point data sheet, throwing out upward of 10 shots, potentially more if you're looking at burst cannons, but you won't want to take them outside of a Star Scythe unit. And even if they're not solo, a commander that is with a Star Scythe unit getting lethal or sustained hits, or with a Fire Knife unit that is fully re-rolling its hits, do not sleep on this. Do not sleep on this. Solo commanders are absolutely back on the menu. But anyway, and I'm not just talking about in Rhett Carter. I'm talking about in Montcar and everything else as well. Solo commanders should not be slept on. Anyway, Pure Tide Engram Neurochip. Once per turn, you can target the bearer's unit, and notice it says once per turn, not once on your turn. Per turn is once in your turn, once in your opponent's turn. Don't forget that. Though you often won't have the CP to do this very, very regularly. But anyway, you can target the bearer's unit with a stratagem, even if you have already targeted a different unit with the stratagem that phase. This is dead. This doesn't work. GW, what the fuck? Stratagems that can be used more than once per phase turn. If they've already targeted another unit with that stratagem in the same phase, can only be used if the name of the stratagem is specified in that rule. Similarly, if a stratagem is limited to 1 use per whatever. Cannot be used at all. Together, these changes mean the effective rights of battle ability becomes once per battle round. One unit from your army with this ability can use it when its unit is targeted with a stratagem. If it does reduce the CP... Okay, I'm going to make a note of this. We're making a video. We are actually making a dedicated video. That this is a massive oversight. This is a massive oversight that one of our enhancements that, by the way, newer players are maybe going to pick. Spend 25 points on something that does not work and wasn't addressed in any of the shit. Let's go back to here. Tau Empire. No changes. Oh, GW. Okay, GW, my work email is in the description of the YouTube video. Please just email me. Like I can help you with this stuff, and I'll only ask a modest fee of a couple of $1,000. Just for my trouble, just for being a dude. You know, like all right, we're making a note. Puretide engram chip. And then the note below it in all caps, just to be passive aggressive at myself, does not work with changes. Oh my God. GW, I just gave you a clap on stream. And don't get me wrong, you've still done great work. And this is one thing from an enhancement that nobody was taking. But still, though, it... Okay. Big PSA for everybody out there. Do not ever take a Puretide engram neurochip. Aside from the fact that Starflare prototype and internal grenade racks are infinitely better. Do you know what the Puretide engram neurochip should be? Once per turn, this unit may modify the cost of a stratagem by 1 CP. Or lower the cost of a stratagem by 1 CP. That'd be a great enhancement for 25 points. Fan-fucking-tastic. By the way, Tide Walls are back on the menu. What are you talking about? Tide Walls never left the menu. Tide Walls are the meme that I wish was a dream, but they're just too mean to not be clean? Yeah. Tide Walls are fantastic. That is exactly what it should be, worded in a way that it combos with Farsights preferably. Well, you won't be able to do the same stratagem more than once because of the changes. But, I mean, if you have a unit that's like, all right, Farsight is going to use his to do 1 CP, drop in 3 inches. And then another unit is going to do the Aracon protocol for free. That's fine. That's a lot of value that you're getting out of that. And it would really help Retaliation Carter with a lot of its issues around scoring and trading because you're opting into a lot of, like, very, very elite units. But... yeah, in Monkar, you scout them, you move, shoot with them, breaches, now you can only charge using tank shock with them. Wait, what is this? In Monkar, you scout them, you move, shoot with them with breaches, and now you can charge using tank shock. Oh yeah, you can tank shock. Yeah, that's a very, very good point. Though, bear in mind, the scout you only get to go 4. Because you can never scout move or do something that allows you to make a normal move for larger than your move characteristic. And this was a... this was a precedent set at the World Championships for Warhammer between John Lennon and Manny Chima. But yeah, as long as you're doing that, yeah, you absolutely can. You absolutely can. Devilfish suddenly became kind of a mortal wound, nuke low key. Yeah, 100%. Absolutely 100%. The other thing, talking about low-key nukes, if you save up the CP for it, imagine being able to run a Riptide in, tank shock, and then when it dies, failsafe detonator to just instantly blow up. Pretty fun. Not hyper competitive, but so much fucking fun. So much goddamn fun. Maybe now Riptides can be the target of tank shocks as well. They can hold the objectives. Yeah, absolutely. I was already using Riptides to be like midpoint bullies. Like that's their job. They're a force multiplier with their gun. They're not dedicated damage, but what they are is a very tough target with an invulnerable save and a 2-up armor save, high toughness that you can target like in this detachment, target with like stim injectors, give it a 6-up feel no pain. And then also on top of that, make it so that it is just like really hard to shift. And if you don't kill it, you've just shot everything into that model and nothing else in your army got touched. Wait, what did they do to tank shock? I'll show you, Loopy. Was it up here or was it... No, I think it was in the core rules. Tank shock stratagem. Here we go. 1 CP. Pick a unit and 1 vehicle model from your unit that's within engagement range of that unit. Just after a vehicle... Oh, this is so good. They also changed this. Your charge phase, just after a vehicle unit from your army, ends a charge move. You don't have to declare it before the charge now. Roll a number of d6 equal to the toughness of the vehicle, not the strength of one of its weapons. What's up, baby? Am I too loud? Yeah, we'll bring him in here. Maybe the stream wants to say hello to Mushi. Yeah. Come here, little boy. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Have a good sleep, my love. All right, everybody, we have a special guest. Look, it's my little boy. Hey, Mushu. What you doing, baby? Hey, Mushu, can I have a kiss? Thank you, baby. Thank you. All right. Yeah, Town Knight charging. Imagine that shit. That's like, what, 13 dice? All right, Mushu boy, up you get. Up you get. Go on. Up you get. Good boy. All right, this is officially going to become the Mushu stream. So, yeah, tank shock's wild. And I was saying, Loopy, the TLDW is that this is one of the biggest shakeups we've had to 40k in like almost all of 10th. What's the toughness of a Storm Surge? That is a great question. I'm fairly certain it is pretty fucking high. I'd be surprised if it's not 12. Do not lick between my fingers, you little asshole. Hey? Oh, you beautiful puppy. Hey, you beautiful boy. Excuse me, that's some big licks. Excuse you. Excuse you. Wait, where was my Storm Surge? Did that not come up? Oh, that's right. Mushu licked my hand when I went to click it. So I missed it. Didn't it? Didn't it, Mr. Man? Yeah, T11. Double Storm Surge is back on the menu. It's not 12 and I'm eternally mad about it. Well, yeah, then you'd have the broadsides, rail rifles, only wounding on 4s. Is that correct? Let's go to the B-sides. What you doing, Mr. Smirks? Hey, what you doing, Mr. Smirks? Stop trying to lick my hands. You've been sleeping, haven't you? You want to clean your tongue. Yeah, hello, little boy. Hello, little boy. Hello, little man. Yeah, so heavy rail, strength 12, yeah. So they're wounding a Storm Surge on 3s, which, I mean, realistically, they probably should be wounding a Storm Surge on 4s. Like, I don't think that a Storm Surge needs to have that shit get through, but, I mean, yeah. Broadside rail rifle got worse because the dev wounds equals mortals. At least their ability got better. Yeah, their ability got better. I don't know that the heavy rail rifle devastating wounds, like I don't think you stop taking it because the devastating wounds change. I think that into a lot of the stuff that you're going to be shooting into, there's not a lot of like big vehicles and monsters and stuff that have feel no pain against mortals. It's kind of fucking wild that these guys have it. But yeah, broadsides at 90 points a model. Until you get to the 3 where it's 100 points a model. These guys are in a much better spot. Much better spot. And with the free rotation now, you've really got a world where these guys have a lot more utility from that. And in Montcar, where they're able to move faster, they get a scout move, which again, don't forget, you can only go 5. You can't go the full 6 because you can't move further than your movement characteristic. Yeah. Interesting changes. Are you licking my desk? Little boy, That is disgusting. You have no idea where that desk has been. Do not lick my microphone. No. Yep. Someone's woken up and he's Mr. Licks, aren't you? Stop looking at me like that, little boy. But yeah, broadside, we've just been such a massive winner of this. We have been such a massive winner. Taunar going into people. T13 for the tank shock. Oh, that is just so good. That is so good. I mean, you wouldn't want to really, but like scout moving Taunar that then moves up, shoots, charges somebody. That's a lot of damage. Ah, this little boy is so cute. Well, now Land Raiders charging us will be 4 mortals. Yep, I mean, probably. B-Side's ability is still one of the oddest design choices in Tau. Yeah, it fucking 100% is. It's, yeah, it's an interesting one. Very, very interesting one. Though, actually, I'm curious for Sororitas if that change actually helps out their mortifiers and penitent engines or it actually hurts it. Let's have a look. Stop trying to lick me, little boy. Hey, no. Can you lie down? Lie down. Mushu, lie down. Good boy. Very good boy. So let's have a look at the Paragons first and foremost. I think this hurts them because I think that they had higher strength melee weapons. Yeah, the War Mace is a strength 12, so you'd be able to pick that and go from it. Whereas their toughness 6, that's a pretty big loss for them. If you've got, and thinking about being in the Penitent detachment specifically, Penitent engines are T6, whereas they had strength 10 ones, that's a loss. The mortifiers are likely exactly the same, I think. Yeah, strength 10, but only T6. I don't know if there's any Sororitas vehicles which really benefited from that. Let's look at like the Castigator. Old Patty and Selma. Big winner, being able to roll 10 dice rather than 6. Hello? What's up? You're feeling a little needy, aren't you, little boy? Eh? You're feeling a little needy. That's okay. You're a very good boy while I was on stream. I love it when he tilts his little head when I'm talking to him. It's so fucking cute. The Redeemer got clapped in points, so at least it won't be that. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I wish the Broadside's ability was shooting based instead of defensive. They are one of the tougher units, but that's not really their identity. I actually think they could have had a better defensive ability and we'd be pretty happy with it. This is like, it's too niche. And that I think is the biggest criticism of these guys. So what was the other one that I wanted to look at? Did you guys hear that hoot? Would you like to talk to the stream? Which one was I looking at? See if I can get him to hoot again. Give a hoot, don't pollute. Actually, I want to look at Custodes and I want to look at the Venatari. I want to show you guys this. So where are they? Venatari Custodians. Which just went down to 165 from 200 points a model. You're not going to do it, are you? So these Custodians can... Oh, that was a little hoot. Give a hoot, don't pollute. Can deep strike in, rapid ingress, then move 10, shoot with what is like half decent shooting. You can rapid ingress for free because of this swooping dive. Well, you still will be able to. This is because it's named the ability. You can also replicate it under the new rules. And then they have shoot and declare a charge in which they fell back. Little boy, no, not okay. You're being a little demanding, okay? I am still working, my little man. So, a 165-point unit that comes in and hits as hard as a custodian unit does. 3 wounds, 2 up, 4 up, T6, free rapid ingress, and then walk up 10 inches, guaranteed charge onto a model, and then after they're done, fall back, shoot, and charge. And they also get the martial karates. That's not bad. That is not bad at all. That is a great change for Custodes. I'm going to contact Adam and I'm going to see if he's including these in his list. Because these just seem, unless I'm missing something, these just seem so good. Yes, my little man. Hey, I can't pay full attention to you right now. Can you lie down for me? Oh, yes. He thinks he's trying to skinner box me right now, where he's like, oh, if I give you a kiss, you give me a treat. That's how it works, right? Because someone is trying to farm me, little boy. OG broadsides were literally just crisis suits with big ass guns on their shoulders. Like, yeah, like that'd be cool. Don't get me wrong, but I think that output isn't Tau's main weakness. I think that having broadsides with some sort of like, you know, I think an always on armor of contempt on them would be fucking awesome. I think that'd be really, really cool. Yes, take the fly models. Okay, for anyone who's not rocking anti-fly, but anyway, if all Orc players have to yell wow when they go off and making Shieldos players make kung fu noises when they have their go turn. Has anybody watched Archer? Where, actually, you know what? I'm going to see if I can find the episode. I think I still have access to Netflix for a little bit. I have to go through signing in. What do you mean incorrect password? Oh, wait, it's wrong account. There we go.
Okay. This is hard to explain, but I'm going to give it a shot.
No, stop. Stop. I don't want to get demonetized. Stop. Go away, and let's go Archer. I'm going to show you what every custodian player has to do. And I'm pretty sure I'll be able to do, like, say a little bit of this. Oh, sorry, show a little bit of this. Fuck, what season is it? It's the one with their PIs. So I think it's season 8. No, that's the Coma, season 7. Yep, Figures Agency. Oh my God, yes, it's double indecency. Okay, I'm going to mute this. So that I can get up to the spot so I don't get demonetized. No, it's season 7? Yeah. Okay, so let's go that. Why didn't it go to that episode? Can you please? Mushu Lee, stop it, my little boy. Okay, let's mute that and then I'll bring it on screen. This is going to be worth it, I promise. Okay, wait for it. I'm almost there. Okay. Hang on. This is going to be so good. All right. Let's bring that up. Yeah, my love. It's only for the bit with Krieger. That's it. Okay. Because under fair use, you can have like a certain number of seconds of stuff. And it's not actually, because it's providing a thing. So, all right. Let's do this. Look for Krieger, the guy, like the mad scientist. Look for this. This is what every custodian has at my tournaments. Shoot. I just love it when Krieger's like, shoo. I actually do that around the house when I want to fuck with Chelsea. All right, wait, I'll find the other spot where is this the part where he does it at base? Hang on. Mushu, can you stop getting in my road, little boy?
Dude, take it. I feel amazing.
And confidence is the key.
And Thoreau was a fucking...
Nope, that wasn't it. Where's the bit where he does it in the thing? Anyway, it's here it is. Yep. No Mushu.
Oh, put your money where your fat blue mouth is.
No, we're not doubling the bet.
Come on, don't you have faith in your man?
Shoot, 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 shoot. Krieger! I do not. No.
That is custodians. Oh, it's not letting you stream the video. Oh my God, I forgot Streamlabs does that. That is so shit. Well, anyway, it's Krieger being like, shoo, 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 shoo. Oh, wait, I wonder if I can find it on YouTube. Do you see him standing up? Do you see him standing up trying to get my attention? Hang on, hang on, hang on, hang on. Look at this little boy. Oh, he's just jumped down. Mushu, Mushu, sit back. Sit back. Mushu, sit back. Sit back. Come on, up, up. Who's my good boy? Look at him. Just sitting up and just licking dad like he's a lollipop. Look at this shit. Mushu, I'm not a lollipop. Excuse you. Let's put that back up. Let's put that back up. Okay. Oh my God. Yeah. Okay. I have to find it on YouTube. Okay. I know that I'm like detouring quite hard here, but whatever, you knew what you were getting into when you married me. Let's swap off this one so I don't have ads come up, because that would be like really embarrassing. All right, down you go, down you go. Hey, look, Penguin Studios is streaming the new MFM. Oh my goodness, that's so cool. Okay, here we go. Let me see if this will actually do it. So if I move this into here, and then I go there. Okay, that is actually showing it. That is actually showing it.
Amazing.
And confidence is the key.
And Thoreau was a fucking idiot. Shoot, shoot, shoot.
Okay, so there's that bit, and then so I don't get demonetized. Here we go.
Shoot, 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 shoot.
Krieger!
And then the bit in the fight. Hang on.
Shoot, shoot, shoot.
Dude's literally like choking him out. Oh my God, I love Archer. Okay, that is what every custodian has to do at my tournaments. Straight up, if you don't, you're banned. Okay, let's correct up the camera. There we go. Hey, little boy. Shoo, 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 shoo. A unit of 2 broadsides plus a single instead of a unit of 3. I've played the system. Yeah, I mean, you won't be able to guide for that 3-man with one guiding unit, but yeah, got him. Got him. All right, cool. So I may or may not bring my own drywall. Fair. Fair. Can you stop horse kicking at me, little boy? How are you not like super fucking tired? Oh my God, we've been streaming for 3 hours. It's past midnight. Oh boy. Okay, well that's definitely a thing. I don't know that I am actually going to get to sleep at any sort of like early time, but everybody, that is, well, I mean, we deviated a long time ago, but that is the review of the MFM and the balanced data slate. GW cooked. GW cooked hard. I'm going to record a video about GW, what the fuck, where is my pure tight engram neuro chip change. Yeah, again, thank you to all of my patrons who make all of my videos possible. If you would like to join them, get access to the Discord, live events that are happening all the time, including being able to sit in with us in the Discord when we're going to be playing D&D. Then head to the links in the description for Patreon or YouTube membership. They're both equally as each other. And if you would like to grab yourself some merch or get some coaching, head to pantheonstudios.com.au where you can have a look at everything that we are doing. It is one of the best ways to support us, as nobody sticks a hand in our pocket outside of Shopify fees, but whatever. Krieger's son? Hell yeah. And still 39 watching. People love the yap. I'm going to throw it out there. People fucking love the yap. And that's something that I do better than anybody. If there's one person who's got the gift of the yap, it's me. But Yeah. We are obviously trying to do all of this full time. One of the best ways to support us in that endeavor is through sponsorship. Sponsorship. My God, Patreon, merch, all that sort of stuff. And build us up to being able to do this rather than having to sacrifice 8 hours a day to somebody else. We'd love to be able to talk about this stuff and do lists and everything else. And hey, if you're looking for lists, go for the Chasso or join the Pantheon tier, where there is a bunch of dedicated coaching and access to my list whenever you want. But that's it from me. Hopefully all of you have enjoyed this chaotic 3-hour dive into all of the shit. We will have content coming out after this. So if you haven't done the internet things, liking and subscribing and sharing to your friends and all that sort of stuff, then do so. Or don't. I'm not your fucking dad. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. We will be having a teams tournament streamed in September, which we were able to sell out in less than 14 hours. 80 players gone. Just like that. We're kind of, not gonna lie, kind of killing it at the moment. So very, very happy with that. And I couldn't be doing it without all of you beautiful people. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for the yaps. And we'll see you in the next one.